binding on the Christians, it's not the Islamic dilemma.
I'm sorry,
so
bro. I
my
just
question,
want to watch this.
so my question is, in regards to the Islamic dilemma, do you actually have an argument that addresses the Islamic dilemma?
Yeah. I'm going to again have to teach you your own argument when you spoke to Danny Boy, and you said that the Muslims actually have to check with the Jews and Christians and their previous scriptures to see whether or not alcohol is prohibited, and based upon that, we have to accept whatever it says. So you're caught. You've had to change your own argument because you can't deal with my argument.
No, what I have to do is correct you on a misrepresentation. Like the verse says, it's ask those if you are in doubt. If they're in doubt about what the Quran says,
is it only partially?
It says what the Quran, what has been revealed to you.
Is it only partially?
What's been revealed?
Is it partially or fully?
What's been revealed?
Why are you asking?
What's been revealed to the Jews and Christians?
No. When it says, if you're in doubt about that which we have revealed to you.
The Quran.
Thank you.
The Quran.
So according to the Quran, if they're in doubt about what the Quran says,
I just wanted to watch
what are they
real quick.
supposed to do?
Exactly. So now you're going back and you're
exactly.
you're restating
Let me write that down.
You're restating your own argument, which is that according to you, those previous scriptures are legally authoritative for Muslims over the Quran, correct?
If they do not, so you're asking me a question. You can ask me that another time.
Yeah, because you're not dealing with the argument.
We'll see.
Exactly.
So according to 1094, right? According to the 1094, can you tell what does doubt mean? What does it mean to doubt?
To not know something to be true.
Correct. Okay, that's awesome. And so, if Muhammad did not know something to be true in the Quran, what does Allah tell him to do to get certainty of the truth about what the Quran is saying?
It's not only speaking to the Prophet Muhammad, it's speaking more generally to Muslims
Amen.
to go to the people of the book who were reading the scriptures. And if you look at, let me finish.
Okay.
If you look at the tafsirs, if you look at our classical authorities who actually have an authority, unlike you, we don't care about your tafsir, sorry to tell you. It says it's to go to the people who actually understood the truth of Islam from their scriptures, who actually became Muslims. That's the position.
I got you. And what were those people reading?
Those people were reading the previous scriptures.
Thank you. So all that fluff didn't matter.
No, it did.
So when it comes,
you still haven't addressed
here's
the
my
point.
question. Now watch this. So according to the verse, for Muhammad to get certainty of the truth, he has to go ask those people who converted to Islam who are reading the previous scripture. So if he goes to these people and he sees that what he's receiving in the Quran lines up with what they have, then he'll be certain of the truth of what he was doubting in the Quran, correct?
But the Quran, in that context, let me finish. In that context, if you read the prior verses, it's talking about the stories of the prophets and the hardships that they went through.
No worries.
And let me finish.
All right, man.
And the prophet, peace be upon him,
I gotta
was
say
to
it, bro.
go
God
to
logic is really
recognize
like that,
the
bro.
same thing was taking place for previous prophets.
You're draining my
It's
time.
not
Who
all
cares?
encompassing.
He's draining your time.
Your claim is
No
that it
worries.
is.
For the sake of argument, let me go with you that it's not all encompassing. For those particular things,
it's
for the
only
sake of
part
the
of the
argument
book.
right here.
Bro, chill.
You gotta let me get it out. You're wasting my time.
You only have to follow
Jay,
part of the
wasting
book.
my time.
Ask a question.
Okay, so stop interrupting. Relax, man.
You keep commenting.
I like when my food talks back to me, but this is tough.
All right. Go ahead,
I like when my food
Right,
talk back to me, but this is tough. It's crazy.
If Muhammad goes and checks with these people and he sees that what he's receiving in the Quran lines up with what they've been reading in their books, then he'll know that what the Quran is saying is true. So this means that the opposite is true as well, right? That if he goes to them and he sees that what he's doubting is not in line with what they have, then he'll know that what he is receiving is not the truth. Correct?
Give me the inference rule for that.
So can you answer
didn't put it in a formal syllogism.
It doesn't follow logically.
I got you. So
it doesn't.
I
know you got to learn because you don't know. You don't know what actually follows and what doesn't.
So you're saying that it works one way, but it doesn't work the other way.
It doesn't necessarily work the other way. You have to show and give an argument for that which you haven't provided.
So when I
you're the one talking over me, right? Every time I answer the question.
No, I'm in the middle of asking the question.
No, I was answering and you keep interrupting.
All right, so you done with your answer?
Yeah. I'm done.
Okay, all right.
First of all, if he's asking a question, then that's not an argument. So there wouldn't need to be an inference rule.
What he has lines up with what they have, then he'll know that he has the truth. that means that the inverse is true, that if he goes to them and sees that it doesn't line
Yeah,
up
I
with
should be
what they
taking
have,
calls later
then he'll
today.
know that it is false, correct?
If the Lord
Wrong.
permits.
What is the inference rule for that? Can you provide it?
He's asking a question.
You can. I know.
Jake's
Okay, I know.
lost.
Yeah,
Jake's
it's not
lost.
your cross.
I know.
It's not
Jake's
your cross.
lost.
It's all being exposed. It's all
Jake's
good.
lost.
So then
He's
earlier
asking
you
a
said
question,
that
bro.
if the messenger came and disagreed with what they had, didn't confirm what they had, then they will rightfully be able to judge him as a false prophet, correct? You said that earlier, right?
Ask it again. Sorry.
You said say it again?
Yeah, I
What?
didn't hear the question.
Okay.
Oh.
You said earlier that you answered yes if, according to 381, if a messenger
He said
comes
Shakey's mom
and
watching this like Jake
contradicts
should have
what they
ran.
have, then they will have the right to judge him as a false messenger, correct?
Yeah.
No, what I said
Jesus
was
Christ
what I
is Lord.
said. I know.
Wow.
You want to take
Yes,
your Lord.
no,
You want
man.
to take your Lord's
Name
name
in
in vain in
vain.
the church. I understand.
said
What?
Lord.
I know. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
I said if, according to what is genuine revelation, which they know to
What's
be
the
genuine
inference rule for a
revelation,
question is
that
crazy.
if someone else comes and contradicts it, it doesn't matter who or what they're bringing, then yes, they would be deemed false.
How do they know if it's genuine revelation?
How do they know what?
If it's
general revelation.
They know if it's genuine
I can't, yeah.
revelation.
I don't
based
know if I
upon
can
what
do
they
formals,
received.
right?
And based upon what the
I get to cuss it.
Guys, I gotta hear this.
based upon what the prophet is coming with,
All right, I
he's
gotta-
able to tell them if you believe that he is a genuine messenger of God, which you quoted earlier,
Just switched
that the
it.
Jews and Christians must believe in the Quran. Well, then they have to also see what the Quran says and matching with their.
He has no
supposed
idea what the
scriptures.
Islamic dilemma is.
All right, in chapter 29, verse 46. it
Amen.
says,
Shout out
"Not
to you,
speak
Honda
what the
Civic.
people
God
of the
bless.
book accept in fairness, and to say to
What's the
them
deal in the
that we
eye?
believe in what was revealed to us and what was revealed to you." So my question is, according to that verse, do they have to believe in part of what they have?
It says, "Do not argue with the people of the book except in the best
Can you
way."
pause my
What does
time?
it have to do with anything?
Can you go
What
to
is
the
it?
part
No, keep-
where it
keep
says,
reading.
"Say we believe in what was revealed to us
And what was
is
revealed to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to the verse, do they have to? Are they able to believe in part of what they have?
They're referring to the genuine revelation that the people of the book had.
So is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so so it uses it in the same context as the Quran. Believe in what was revealed to us, which is the Quran, correct?
Part of it, yeah.
Oh, so you could believe in part of the Quran.
No, you're missing the point. What
I'm
is
missing the
revealed?
point.
What is revealed to you? The prophet, peace be upon him, received
Hey,
the Quran
man.
and other revelation besides that. So Quran
This
is
is
only part of the
tough.
revelation.
When it says when you're disputing with the
I
people
know-
of the book,
I
say,
know.
we believe
Jake's sitting
in
there like,
what
this time
was
can't go
revealed
fast
to
enough.
us. Is that the Quran?
We believe in that which has been revealed to us and revealed to you.
Is that
it's
the Quran, the
talking
first
about? It's talking about.
He ain't
the
never even
previous
seen this verse
scriptures
before.
Or revelation that
That's
the
what I'm
people
asking.
of the book received,
Yeah.
and what the prophet received is the Quran.
Bro, so yes
and
or
the
no
Sunnah.
question.
Right, so stop wasting my time with that thing.
I already
so
repeat- I
so
said that
yes,
the first time.
I got you. So
You're-
according to
you
the
asked the
verse,
same
are
question
you
again.
able to believe, according to the verse, are you able to believe in part of the Quran?
No.
Yeah,
so
it's
then,
cross-exam.
according to the verse, you're not able to believe in part of what was revealed to them, right?
What's the
Exactly.
inference?
Oh, it's
Oh.
over. Hey, man. Hey, thanks for
said
coming,
that.
man.
I never said that.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
It's over. Hey, I relaxed my time, man. You can give them the rest. It's over.
That's
It's over.
It's over
crazy.
for you.
It's a
I know
done
it's
deal.
over.
It's a done deal.
Yep, it is.
All right, guys,
Jeez.
let's settle down. Hold your
GG's.
applause, and,
That's
so we're going
crazy.
To, so you're relinquishing the rest of your time, Avery. You good?
Yeah, it's over, bro.
All right.
Give it to him.
All right. So
Yeah.
Jake is up for his 20-minute cross-examination of
That's
Avery.
tough.
I'll start your time, Jake, as soon as you begin.
That's tough.
Okay, when you use the Islamic
I've never seen
dilemma
God
and you
Logic put
say
on a
that
show
the
like that.
Quran affirms the authority of the previous scriptures. What does authority mean?
It means that it is the standard of truth and it is legally binding on the Jews and Christians.
Okay, it's legally binding on the Jews and Christians. So if I can show to you in the Quran that the Quran and Islamic law is binding on Jews and Christians, then that defeats your claim, correct?
No.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
So you just said that the authority part means that the Jews and Christians must follow their scriptures as legal authorities. Are they required to follow the Quran as legal authority?
They can.
Yes, they are.
They are. Okay. So they're required
doesn't
to follow-
contradict.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
The Jews
I'm
and
gonna
Christians
just pause.
are
I'm gonna
required
pause
to
real
follow
quick.
the Quran as a legal authority.
So there's a scripture where it says that, like, first of all, there's no law in in the Bible where it says that, like, oh, if a country or whatever overpowers you or you're under subjugation of them, you can't follow their laws.
$19.99. He cooked him instantly.
That saved? Hold on, let me. Shout out to you, Saved by Grace. God bless you. Yeah, there's no law that says that Christians can't, like, live under the authority of another nation or whatever the case may be. And there's no law in the Bible that says that you can't pay jizya. So it's not like Christians will be going against their scriptures in order to abide by Islamic law. Like, they're not required to like, you know, go against their God or anything. So, like,
and they're also required to follow the Torah and Injil, correct?
Yeah, so
it's like paying taxes. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Give to God what is God's. Like,
no, I didn't. It's both.
Like, Islam could be a demonic nation that takes over, and you got to pay a tax. Like, that doesn't change anything.
And the Quran, while also believing in their scriptures as well. However, because they reject Muhammad as a prophet and reject the Quran says in chapter 5, verse 43, all the way to 48, it says, for the Jews, judged by the Torah. Why did they come to you, Muhammad, when they have the Torah? For in verse 47, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed in there. In chapter 40, in verse 48, it says, to each of you we have given you your own law. And if Allah wanted to make you one nation, he would have, but he didn't do it.
Okay, so you're contradicting yourself.
Hey, man.
You're saying to yourself that in 548, the Jews and Christians are supposed to follow their own laws, but now you're saying they're supposed to follow their own laws and the Quran. How can they follow their own laws and the Quran when the Quran explicitly abrogates their laws?
Okay, so again, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Exactly.
The Quran requires them to believe and follow Muhammad in the Quran.
Yeah.
However, they don't. When they don't, Allah says, okay, well, you can judge by your Torah then. Judge by your gospel since you're disbelieving in the prophet. So they're required to believe in Muhammad and they're told to follow him. But when they reject, he says, fine, follow the Torah and the gospel. This is your legal binding on you.
Okay, so can they follow the Torah and the Injil as legal authorities to get to paradise according to the Quran?
According to chapter 2, yes.
According to chapter 2.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, you're saying that the Quran is requiring the Jews and Christians to follow the Quran as a legal authority, but they don't actually have to. That's contradictory.
No, you asked, do they have to make it into paradise? So what I'm saying is that if even when they're following their own laws, following the gospel and the Torah, they also still have to believe in the Quran and Muhammad as a revelation, even if they're not bound by the laws of the Quran.
Do they have to follow his laws?
So they are told to follow the.
What are they? Why are they required?
They're not required to follow like their dietary laws or anything. They're still able to hold to their God. They're still able to hold to the Trinity and everything like that. They're just required to pay jizya because they don't completely go over to Islam.
What he forbids, abide by that. What he doesn't forbid, abide by that. When they don't, Allah still gives them a caveat. Okay, judge by the Torah then. That's why he says, when they tried to come to Muhammad for judgment, he said, why do they come to you for judgment when they have the Torah in which Allah's judgment is in? He's giving them a caveat when they reject the Quran.
Okay, so when they reject the Quran and don't follow Islamic law, are they going to be held accountable for that?
If by rejecting the Quran, yes. So what they have to do is, even if
not
they
following it.
Let me finish.
Not following.
Let me finish. Even if they're not bound by the legal laws of the Quran,
you just said they were.
You're not listening. You're not even listening to what I'm saying.
You just said they were.
You're not listening.
You're
to what I'm
contradicting
saying.
yourself.
Okay, so can you explain how I contradicted myself?
You keep saying that the
That's a bad
Quran
move, Jake.
says that the Jews and Christians actually have to follow
you can't
the
answer
Quran
questions
as a
on
legal
cross-exam.
authority, but when they don't, then they're supposed to follow their Torah and Injil. And I asked you, why is it the case that they are supposed to follow the Quran for Islamic rulings and legal rulings to begin with? Why are they being asked to do that? You said, well, because they're supposed to follow the prophet and his laws. Why? You're not answering the question.
I did answer the question. I'll say it again. Listen slowly. Muhammad was sent as a prophet confirming what they have. So, because he's a fulfillment of what they have, they are to believe in him, support him, and follow him. That's what the Quran says. However, when they don't follow the Quran and its legal bindings, Allah gives them a caveat. You can have the Torah. You can have the gospel, while the Muslims have the Quran.
And when
let me finish.
Yeah,
chapter 5, verse 48. Well, I'm answering you. You said I didn't answer.
You're going on
so
and on.
chapter 5, verse 48 makes it clear for you, Jake. It says, if we wanted to, we could have made you all one nation, but to each of you we have given to you your own law. So according to, if I'm contradicting myself, I guess Allah is, because I'm just quoting him.
Exactly. So here, when they refuse to follow Islamic law, the Jews and the Christians, are they doing something wrong?
Repeat that, sorry.
When the Jews and Christians refuse to follow Islamic law, are they doing something wrong according to the Quran?
They are doing something wrong if they are rejecting, if that is in line with them rejecting him as a prophet as a whole, as revelation.
I'm going to ask again. I know it's hard on the mushrikeen. I know it's hard on the mushrikeen.
Asked and answered.
The question is, are they doing something wrong when they refuse to follow the Quran for Islamic rulings, Islamic laws?
I'll answer it again.
You didn't answer. Go ahead. Try again.
I guess I'll repeat
Try
it.
again. I know it's hard on you. Go ahead.
I know.
Go ahead.
Maybe let me not repeat it 3 times. We know Allah says don't say 3.
Go ahead.
So according to the Quran, it says that they are to follow Muhammad because they're supposed to recognize him from their scriptures. If they don't recognize him as a prophet from God and therefore do not follow the legal bindings, then they are doing something wrong. However, if they choose to obey their own scriptures and still believe that Muhammad is a prophet from God and the Quran is a revelation, that is not wrong. They're okay.
Okay, so they're okay if they follow the Quran for Islamic rulings, but they're not allowed to reject the Quran's rulings, correct?
As a revelation from God.
Okay, so they can believe it's revelation, but say, we don't want to follow revelation.
We stick to our scriptures.
So in Quran 285, when it says that the Jews, in that case, they
Bro,
believe
this
in
has
part
nothing
of
to
the book, part of the
do
book,
with
and
anything,
disbelieve
really.
part of the book. Was that in regards to them choosing to follow part of the book and not follow another part of the book?
Yeah, so according to them, it was binding on them the Torah. So it's like this. When
this is
were they
law.
following part of the book?
Hold on.
Well, they released it
part of
today,
the book?
so it's premiering.
Yeah, try to answer.
All right, answer. You
Go ahead.
interrupted me. You
Go
get nervous.
ahead.
Okay, thank you. Such a gentleman. So when you're saying when it says that they are disobeying a law and then accepting another law, they're believing in part of the book and rejecting other parts of the book, right? Following one law while rejecting another law. That both are binding on them. Now, just because something is abrogated, let's say, doesn't mean that, because it's abrogated, because a new law has come and, let's say, superseded the previous one, it doesn't mean that they don't believe in the one that was superseded. They believe in that past law. It's just no longer binding. That doesn't mean that they're believing in part of Scripture and following it now.
Is in the context, is belief have anything to do with them following?
Yeah.
Okay, so good.
So
they're not supposed to. So in the concept of Quran 285, when you say they're believing in, Jake is believing in a part of the book and disbelieving in part of the book.
Yeah.
In that context, it's about following. Now you, Mr. Avery, are advocating that Christians and
This
Jews
really has nothing to do with the Islamic dilemma, bro.
Parts of the Quran, but also not follow parts of the Quran. So how is 285 not applying to you?
Because you're misconstruing the two contexts. Yeah, you're laughing.
I know it's hard on you, bro.
It's tough.
Tough.
This is why you have to interrupt me when I
285
answer.
got you.
This is why you got to interrupt me when I answer.
Oh, you started talking about me.
I started talking and you interrupted
Go ahead.
me.
Go ahead.
It's all good.
Go ahead.
This doesn't work.
I know. It works.
So according to 285, it's about them and what is binding on them. Do you get that? It's what's binding on them. So they can't pick and choose in the Torah what they choose to follow and what they choose to reject. They can't do that. When you go to another context that you're equivocating on, it doesn't work the same way because it's not talking about what's binding on them. According to the Quran,
Logic went
what's
mainstream.
binding on
Logic
the
is
Jews
mainstream.
is the Torah. What's binding on the Christians is the gospel.
Is the Quran binding on them?
Let me finish.
Is the
please.
Quran binding
Allow
on
me
them?
to finish, please.
What does this have to do with the Islamic dilemma, bro?
You asked me a question, man. I gotta
This
take
is
it
why
long.
David
It
Wood
takes
was just
long
like,
to
bro,
teach.
we don't even need
It
to
does take
use
long to
it.
teach.
Like, if it's just going
Okay, I'm sorry. Just give me like 45 more seconds.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Come on.
all right.
45 more
So,
seconds is
this being
crazy.
said, when you're talking about believing in part of the scripture and rejecting the rest, you're not talking about what's legally binding on a Christian as what is true. Like they're saying this is true, this is false, this is true, this is false. That's wrong to do in their scriptures. They can't do that with the Quran. They have to believe all the Quran is true, even though not all of the Quran is binding on them legally.
Okay, so now we're going back. You're flip-flopping once again.
I'm waiting on the argument for the Islamic dilemma.
You're flip-flopping once again. Is the entire
I ain't got Elijah doing a good job
legally
just indulging him because he's not getting to the point of proving against the Islamic
I'll answer
dilemma.
it again. The Jews and Christians are initially called to follow Muhammad and the Quran. When they don't, they are called to still follow and abide by the laws in their scriptures. However, like the verse you put up, they have to pay the jizya. This is why they are given this, but not, for example, the polytheist. The polytheist is convert or die. Christians are convert or pay the jizya and keep your scriptures.
Right. And if they pay the jizya, is that acceptable, okay, in terms of them following the Quran in order to make it to paradise?
Sure.
It is? Where do you get that from?
Okay, according to the Quran, it says, those who believe among the Jews and Christians have nothing to fear. They're going to go to paradise. So even though if they're following their scriptures correctly, and they're following it, I mean, they're not believing in it partially, rejecting it partially. They're believing in their scriptures, and they don't reject Muhammad, partially, and they don't reject Muhammad as a prophet and the Quran as a revelation. They're good to go. Okay. That's chapter 2.
So when the Quran says, and you just said that they have to accept Muhammad as a prophet.
Yeah.
Okay. And when that prophet says that you have to follow the Quran for its legal rulings, and he tells you what the dietary restrictions are that you must follow,
all they care about is pork, bro. I swear.
Are you actually following the prophet?
It's
like, I swear to God, bro. If Christians didn't eat pork, they wouldn't have a problem. I swear, bro. They just hate bacon.
And you even bring this up. You actually quoted this.
According to the Quran?
According to the Quran.
Do you believe that?
According to the Quran. That's not what this is about.
Do you accept that according to the Quran?
To finish.
According to the Quran,
that's what the Quran says. That's what,
okay,
what
you
the Quran
accept
says.
it. Okay, go ahead.
So according to the Quran, Jesus abrogated some laws of the Torah.
Okay.
Now, the Jews did not follow, not all of them. There were some of them that did not follow what Jesus was saying. However, guess what? Way after Jesus came, 600 years later, chapter 543 is telling the Jews, why do they come to you when they have the Torah in which Allah's judgment is in? So even still, the Quran is telling the Jews to follow the Torah, even though they rejected Jesus. So they can reject even if they reject the prophets, Allah is still giving them a caveat to follow and obey their scriptures.
Right. So let me ask it a different way. I mentioned perennialism. So are you saying that the Quran is advocating perennialism?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, I explained it in my opening statement.
He did explain it.
Took notes.
I should.
Anyway, the idea that there are multiple pathways to God, and as you said, essentially, that the Jews and Christians can have a right standing with God and make it to paradise, even if they are not following the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, so it's twofold. They can only make it to paradise if they are believing in all of the revelation of Allah and all of their messengers, abiding by their scriptures. If they're not legally bound by the Quran's laws, if they're not following the Quran's laws, but they still have to believe it's revelation. If they reject it as revelation and reject Muhammad as a prophet, they cannot make it to paradise.
Okay, so when the Quran says that Jesus is not God and a Christian believes that Jesus is God, are they rejecting the prophet's revelation?
They're rejecting not only the prophet's revelation, but they're also rejecting Allah's revelation in the Injil, because that's the dilemma. The Quran does not know what is in the Injil. So it says that Jesus is not the Son of God, while affirming the Injil that says he is the Son of God. Welcome to the dilemma.
Finally.
Thank you very much. So you're
finally arrived at the debate.
So you're admitting that Jews and Christians, even apart from the Islamic law, that if they're actually following the Quran, they must reject your scriptures, correct?
No, what I'm saying.
Oh, so
what
so
I'm
they
saying,
could believe.
Can I finish?
So,
Oh.
no, so they
Oh my
could believe. So they could believe. You said no. I'm gonna respond now.
Let me finish.
You
I didn't get
said
to
no,
qualify
no,
what I
no,
was saying,
I'm the
man.
one who's controlling and asking
But
questions.
you gotta let me at least answer.
I'm asking questions. So you're saying that
Nah,
a Christian,
that's not
a
what it's
Christian,
going, man.
a Christian could
I let
believe.
you finish
a
when you.
Christian-
Hey, that'd be
All right,
crazy if
all
God
right.
Logic just got up and walked
that
off.
Jesus is God,
Jake,
and
this
still be
isn't how this goes,
following
brother.
and still be following the Quran.
Sorry,
according to
Jake.
you.
I'm gonna go ahead and finish what I was saying.
I know, it's
I'm
hard
not,
on the
I'm
Bashir
not
King.
your
I
dimmy,
know it
man.
is.
Nah,
I'm
cuz
part of the
just
Holy
get
Priesthood.
up and just
This
skate,
is the Holy
man.
Priesthood.
I already collected the jizya.
So, as your priest, this is what I'm gonna say. I said, no, guys, please settle down. No, and when I'm qualifying this by saying this, okay? When they believe in their scriptures, that according to the Quran does not know what's in the script. Let me actually fix this. Allah does not know what's in the scriptures. So he's continuously saying, hey, follow your scriptures, believe in it. Well, actually, Jesus ain't the Son of God, though. Jesus wasn't crucified. Not knowing that's in the scriptures, he's saying it's true. Welcome to the dilemma.
Exactly.
You made it to the debate.
So when the Quran in 6:146 says that Allah prohibited for the Jews every animal with uncloven hoof, is that in the Torah?
I believe so.
Okay, so Allah does know that that was prohibited for the Jews, and He's
Bro, I
let me
swear
finish.
to-
You're not
bro,
asking-
if it
asking
didn't have
questions.
nothing to do with
So,
food,
I know,
bro,
thanks. I gotta
if
cook.
it didn't have
So,
nothing to do with
let me
food,
finish
bro,
and tell you that in that
we be living in
context, he's
harmony,
telling the
I
Jews
swear.
what was prohibited for them on account of their transgression, and in the prior verse contrasts it with what is prohibited for the Muslims. So how could the Jews follow the Quran when it says that only pork is prohibited and not what was prohibited for them before?
Oh my gosh, it's like you're not catching
You're not
on.
getting
bro, you some
So, Jake, let me go ahead and answer.
So the Quran's an authority
Jake,
over it,
can I
right?
answer you?
It's an authority over
Can
it.
I answer
Yeah,
you?
we're waiting for you.
Okay,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Appreciate
why
it.
he holding the mic like a 90s R&B
So,
singer
dude,
is hilarious.
you're
He really
assuming-
is,
You're
though.
assuming that when the Quran mentions a law, that it's getting it from the scriptures. No. Muhammad used to hear the traditions of the Jews when he used to hang out with them. Matter of fact, you have hadith that say that the Jews used to recite the Torah in Hebrew and then explain it to the Muslims in Arabic. And then Muhammad goes on to say, don't believe what they say, nor disbelieve what they say, but say we believe in what was sent down to us and what was sent down to you. So according to Muhammad, he believed in
Don't
their
believe,
scriptures.
don't
He just didn't
disbelieve.
trust everything that they
Amen.
said. So whenever you're
Amen.
hearing Muhammad or saying that the Quran is actually
Muhammad
happens to
cookie.
get something right that's in our Torah, it's because he heard it.
Ain't
and he
true,
happened to
ain't
get it right this
false.
time. But there's other traditions that he hears, and he adds it into the Quran as if it's part of the Torah, like when he quotes the Talmud and other places. He don't know what the Torah is, man.
So when you said earlier that according to the Quran, the Jews and Christians are actually supposed to follow the Quran as a legal authority, does that mean that the Quran is a legal authority over the Jews and Christians?
I
and their
appreciate
scriptures?
you, Jeff.
It means that the
God
Quran
bless.
can be a legal authority over the previous scriptures. However,
Oh,
guess what,
wow.
Jake? But guess
there
what,
goes
Jake?
the authority.
Watch
there
this,
goes
Jake.
the authority.
Watch this, Jake.
There goes the authority.
Unfortunately for you, Jake, as you already admitted, the Quran or a new revelation superseding the previous in authority or legal binding does not mean the previous revelation is corrupted. It's still true.
But it's not an authority.
Let me finish.
Not an authority.
Yeah, Jake doesn't get it.
So if this means that parts of your Quran is not an authority, does that mean it's not true? No.
Again,
that's what you said.
again, listen to
you
the
You gotta let me
argument.
land.
You
gotta let
asked
me
me
land.
a question.
First of all, I can't ask
It was
questions.
rhetorical and I answered it myself.
Okay, so finish.
Thank you.
You asked me a question.
I appreciate it. So, just because if we even grant that the Quran
Shout out to you,
supersedes
Zach.
the scriptures in legal binding authority, it doesn't supersede the scriptures in the standard of truth in that
Okay.
sense of the authority.
Okay, good.
Which is why I said when we
We
say
got 'em.
authority, let me finish, bro.
We got 'em.
When we say
Hey, man.
that the Quran
This what the debate
affirms
gonna be like
the
if I
authority
debate
of the previous
halal?
scriptures, I specifically said meaning that the previous scriptures are the standard of truth.
Okay, good.
And they're
Good.
legally binding on the Jews and Christians.
Okay,
Address that.
So it's only partly authoritative. It's not fully legally authoritative. The Quran is fully legally authoritative over the previous scriptures, correct?
In some senses. Now,
In some sense.
however,
So
that's
part of the
not.
book
Let me
and accept and part of
let
the
me
book?
finish.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess again, you're showing out how silly you are. If going with something that
There goes
Yeah,
authority.
if
it's
going with
cooked.
something that is legally binding over something that is no longer legally binding, it means picking and choosing. That means you, as a Muslim,
Have
are
to
picking
pick
and
and
choosing
choose
when it comes
parts
to
of the
alcohol.
Quran.
When the Quran
Yeah.
at one point said that alcohol is good, it just don't
Yes,
come drunk
it-
to the
it's
masjid.
just-
Let me
Authoritative over the
finish.
other.
Let me
Authoritative
finish.
over the
Allow
other.
me to
Yeah,
finish.
follow the argument.
Appreciate it.
No, it's
Thank you.
hard.
No, follow your own argument.
Yeah, you can't
so when the
get it.
Quran in one place says that, hey, you can drink, just don't come to the masjid drunk. But then in another verse it says, don't drink at all because wine is the works of Satan. I guess you're picking and choosing what you believe, huh? Because one verse became more binding over another. According to Jake, if that is the case, then you're picking and choosing. You're in trouble, not me.
All right.
Time's up, right?
That's time right there.
Amen.
That's time. Thank you guys for a fantastic cross-ex.
That's tough. That is tough. That is tough. I'm not gonna watch the conclusion. But that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Dang, bro. Yeah, shout out to God Logic on that one. That was tough. He was locked there. How long I've been live? 30 minutes now. We was just watching a debate. What would I do? What would I do to what? What? What's up, gang? Oh.
You should be Christian. I'm wondering why that is the case.
Why? What is the case?
That one should be Christian, you know?
Oh, one should be Christian because Jesus actually died and rose again for you, so that you can have
How do you know
salvation.
that?
Cause we could look at the Bible and we could see that he did that, and the Bible just true by default. That's our axiom.
So the Bible is like axiomatically true. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's just that shit. That shit is it's our axiom.
Mm.
You see what I mean, bro? That's why I can't be talking to you, bro. You bring out bad sides of me.
The worst in you.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I just bro, I ordered what do you call it? Them little chairs that you can control that go up and down.
What you mean that you could control? I'm
You know,
finna
sorry,
post
not chairs, tables or desk. You know those desks that you can control how high it goes and how low it
Yeah.
goes? Yeah, I ordered one of them.
Dang, are you spending? It hurt me so much when I spent this much money.
It did, bro. But listen.
And
If
hit
I'm
me
gonna
with
do it,
another
I'm gonna
purchase.
do it right.
Oh,
I'm gonna do it right.
Hey, bro, I hear you. I hear you. I can't be mad at it. Ain't about who did it first, about who did it right. Looking like preach. Alright. That was a good debate, though. That was a good debate.
What was the debate about?
Is pretty much, is there an Islamic dilemma? Okay. Ain't about who did it first, about who did it right. Looking like preach. Hold on 1 second. I find peace knowing that it's harder in the streets. I know. Luckily, I didn't have to grow there. I will only go there because people that I know there. Modern atheism. What's up?
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you.
Good.
So,
One
you know,
second. Let me see if I could get your video up.
okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Alright, what's up?
So, last time I saw a video of you talking with an atheist about the act and potency version of the first cause argument, right?
Yeah.
I believe that's like Aquinas' first way.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to talk about that? Can you maybe walk me through the argument, like step by step?
Yeah. So I was just gonna say that change exists,
Yeah.
and by change we mean the actualization of potential.
Okay. The first, I'm not sure I like that definition of change. I will define change as Andrew Locke defines this as a gaining or losing of properties. I think that's a simple definition.
Yeah, that's
And
fine. We're talking about pretty much how change is possible. So like you could define change as the transition of states, the gaining and losing of properties, whatever the case may be. But we're talking about how this thing is possible. So we're saying that the way in which change is possible, or like why this is why we said when we're defining change, the way that change is possible is because there's potential in substances that are able to be actualized. It's like the answer to the questions, the philosophical questions way back in like Heraclitus and people like that who are pretty much trying to figure out how change is even possible.
okay, let me tell you the issue. Well, I can accept this definition, but let me tell you the issue I have with it.
Mhm.
It's not clear. It's not super clear. What are the potentials for a thing? For example, let me ask you this: this water, does it have the potential to become a car? Does water naturally have? Right, that's right. Let me tell you this. Let's say I throw a colorant at the water and make it purple. Now I've changed many people will say I changed the water, right? I changed it into purple. But some people will say that water naturally doesn't have the potential to be purple, just like it doesn't have the potential to become a car. Some people will say, no, water has the potential to be ice, the potential to be steam, but not the potential to be purple, right? But in another way, it seems like it's proper to say that if I add colorant to the water, I just change the water. But what's being purple, a naturally potential state of water, that's unclear. That's my contention.
No, like you can change the color of water with like food coloring. That's like obviously that's going to be possible.
Yeah.
So like the potential is just going to be like kind of defined in the nomological laws in some sense, like especially in regards to things that we're talking about naturally. So like if it's nomologically like possible for water to be changed in color by the means of that which possesses the color, which is like the food coloring, for example, then that's that potential being actualized. And the one that's in act, obviously, is going to be the food coloring. That's not going to be a problem. Now, the water doesn't have the capability of being a car. Like it's impossible. It's nomologically impossible. So it doesn't have that potency. It doesn't have that potential to be a car. So that's it with potency. It's just going to be the true capacity of a thing to be like different in accordance with its nature.
Okay, so it would be like in a nomological possibility kind of way, not in a logical possibility kind of way. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, sure, okay. Okay, so what's the next step?
Okay, but a potential can't actualize itself.
Okay. Sure. So you need an actualizer, right? A thing that is actual to actualize that potential.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you what do you think about this counterexample? An atom, a radioactive atom, an atom that undergoes radioactive decay. It seems like there is nothing external to the atom that makes it change, right? The actualization of the potential of the change, it's internal to the atom. The atom changes by itself, literally. That's how radioactive decay works. There is nothing external actualizing this change. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, it still depends on like the radioactive field in order to like it depends on laws of like physics, laws of gravity, things like that in order to be able to act. If you were to remove those things. So all the change is going to say is that like say for instance, because people could use an argument that you change yourself when you decide to move or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the problem. It's going to say that still like the thing that enables that that change is going to be like either the governing laws or, whatever the case may be. It's not saying that like, oh, something needs to come and like hit a thing in order to make it change. It's that it depends on things external in order to bring things into act.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Sure. One may say, I could say that maybe the laws of the atom, that they're just description of the properties, of the inherent properties of the atom, and therefore are not really, in a sense, truly external to the atom. Somebody could try that. Don't you think this could be, one could see that?
Can you say that again?
The laws of the atom, laws of the atom, the laws.
Laws, okay, yeah.
Laws. That these are merely a description of properties of the atom.
Okay.
That these are not really an external thing, like the law is not really an external thing in any way, external to the atom, right?
No, it would be like external to the atom. That's the way in which these things would be visible. The atom is contained under a certain space and location. Like it has things that enables it to act a specific way. That if you were to remove said things, like either the atom wouldn't exist. Like say for instance, if you were to take away the like gravity, for example, like the atom would cease to exist, right? Like so it still depends on these things that are external to it, that is not the atom itself, that is in act in order to bring that thing into act, whether it be the changing of the atom or quantum fluxes. Like they still depend on a quantum field to be a specific way in order for these particles to have a space to pop in and out of existence. It's not saying that like the what is it, like the second law of thermodynamics or whatever, like whatever, when it says whatever is moved by another, it's not saying in regards to friction, but just that there is something either logically prior or temporally prior that is already actual, that pretty much gives the space for this thing to be actual.
Okay, I see. But I'm still not quite sure about that. I'm not sure one could define gravity as a property inherent to matter. So it will be like not really an external thing, like completely distinct from the atom. It will be like a property the atom has. It has the property, the mass has the property of attracting other mass. And that's what we call the law of gravity. But the atom has the property like inherent. But, but there's one thing I would say.
Even if that's the case, like say for instance, if you have the gravity that's a property in the atom, like the examples that like Thomas Aquinas would use, a hand moving a stick to move a stone.
Yeah.
But even that which moves the hand is going to be the wrist. Like even though it's still all of the same body, it's the things that are logically prior, and all these things like would need to be in act in order for this thing to be able to change. So even if it's inherent to you, like how my wrist is like inherent to me, it doesn't like then just remove the fact that my wrist is that which is actualizing the movement of my hand. So even if the gravity is like inherent to the atom, it doesn't change anything.
Okay. But let me ask you this. Don't you think that one could say things change in because of two reasons? One is because other thing changes them, right? That's the argument, because there is an external actual. And the second way they can change is if they are unstable in the first place. For example, if something was unstable from the beginning, then it will change by itself. Its own unstable nature will be the thing that accounts for change. What do you think?
Yeah, we're just saying, so all we're saying is that a potency can't actualize itself. So we're saying that a thing that is in potential can't actualize itself. That doesn't mean that things can't be random. That doesn't mean that we can't know why a thing happens the way that it does. It's just saying that a thing that is not already yet cannot give a property that it does not have yet.
Right.
Yeah, that's all it's saying.
Okay, let me give you maybe a silly example. A food can become by itself, can gain the property of smelling bad if it rots. It doesn't get the property of smelling bad from something that smells bad. Instead, it's bacteria that makes it the food rot, and it makes it smell bad. But there is nothing that has to smell bad to get the food the property of smelling bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So-
and that's precisely the thing that like Aristotle is arguing. So when people like Parmenides and Heraclitus are trying to answer the question as to how change is possible, one of them argue that everything must come from being, which means that every form that exists, the thing that exists before it must have that exact same form. So for example, how can a piece of wood turn into a statue? So they're saying that, oh, this either comes from being, which means that it already has the form of a statue and that's where it gets its form from, or it comes from non-being. Well, obviously non-being is non-existence and it has no properties. Therefore, it must come from being. So then they conclude that all change is just an illusion. What Aristotle is going to say is that, no, it's not that, oh, everything has like this previous form. It's that there's an inherent capacity to be different that lies within the thing. So within the food, it doesn't necessitate that, oh, there's something within the atmosphere of the house that makes it smell bad, but that there is this capacity within the food that if it is left out, it can smell bad. And this can be brought about by the external atmosphere, just like how when a seed grows, it's not that another tree steps on it or anything like that, but the seed has the capacity to grow into a tree. And this is brought about by the soil, the water, and the sunlight that don't have the properties of treeness, right?
Yeah.
But it has the things to bring those properties about.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that's fine. So what's the next step, right? The idea is that you cannot have an infinite chain of actualizers, right? So what would
yeah,
you say is
pretty
the
much.
next? So what is the next step? So there has to be. Can you say what's the next? There has to be a first thing that is the first actual that is actual.
Yeah. So when we're talking about a first action, like, okay, so if no potential can actualize itself, then everything that is changed by something else, pretty much, or everything that is actualized by something else. Then yes, this leads to a chain of actualizers, each depending on something else to cause its change right now.
Okay.
Now, infinite series of this type of actualizers is impossible. So we're not talking about a temporal sequence that goes back in the past, but a simultaneous like dependency causation, pretty much.
Okay.
It's a per se causal series that can't go on infinitely in the past. I mean, not in the past, but infinitely.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay.
So if that's the case, then that means that this chain is finite. And if this chain is finite, that means that obviously there's a first in regards to priority or hierarchy. And this first actualizer doesn't receive actualization, but is purely actual.
Wait, hold on. Why is it? I don't get. Why is it purely actual instead of just actual? But it's because it seems to me like being even partially actual will still work, even if it was just partially actual. As long as it's actual or existent, it can kickstart the change. It doesn't need to be purely actual.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So it gets into, I don't know how much you've read like Aquinas, but so, well, you're smart, so you'll understand. Now, Aquinas is going to argue.
This my fave argument I'm learning from you.
Appreciate you, Murph. God bless you. Now, there's a couple ways in which I can answer this question. So one of the ways is going to be that existence is going to be the greatest act. So, so obviously actuality is going to be referring to that which like actually exists, right?
Yeah.
So existence is going to be an act. Now, if nothing in this chain exists in itself, but receives existence from the previous member, right? Then that this is still a per se like causal series that can't go on infinitely. So then that means that it terminates in something that like necessarily exists, or but what that means is that what this thing is that it is, which means that it's pure existence. It doesn't receive existence because essence is going to exist in potential. And then act is going to be your actual existence. There's this distinction between what you are and that you are, pretty much. So that's going to be one thing. So if this thing is going to be pure existence, it's pretty much going to be the same as purely actual. And then as well as if there is potential, if there is a capability to be changed, then there's a capability to be actualized, obviously, which just means that this thing is in the chain. It has potential that's able to be actualized, which means that it would just be in a chain. It wouldn't be the first that is just actual.
Okay. I will very quickly, I will just say that it can have some potential that will never be actualized, right? So it will be in the chain, it will be the first member of the chain, but it will have some potential. It just simply happens that not this potential will never be actualized. And I want to show you a quote. Do you know Joe Schmidt? Right?
Joe Schmidt, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got a quote he has a blog post of 7 parts about the Aquinas first way. And here is, just let me read you a quote about what he says. He says, merely being an unactualized actualizer does not entail utterly lacking in all potentialities, which means being pure actuality. That's what I was saying. Since any being which is an unactualized actualizer may have potentials which simply are not right now being actualized or are not required to be actualized for the being in question to serve as the terminus for a given per se chain of causes change. You know, what he's saying is basically that being an actualizer that has not been actualized does not logically 100% entail that is pure actuality. Like, it could have some potentials. There is nothing like logically really prevents it from having some potentials, right? It can still serve as a chain, because all you need for it to serve as the starter of the chain is for it to be actual, for it to exist. Basically, it only needs to exist. It doesn't need to lack.
Yeah, but if this thing, if this thing is that which exists, right, necessarily exists or pure existence, that is no difference from purely actual.
No, but
so if you have potential, right? If you have potential, one, that means that you're composed. Two, that means that you can fail to exist as well. And what's the name? Yeah. So yeah, but one, you're composed. Two, you fail to exist, and three, you're just part of the series. Like you're just part of that which could be actualized, that which could be changed, all of those things. Now, if that's the case, right, then one, it's a capability for this thing to be actualized, right? So say for instance, if you have a potential that's never actualized, and that could apply to absolutely anything. Like this microphone has a bunch of potentials that can never be actualized, right? That doesn't entail one, pure actuality, but it does entail that it is a part of a chain, and it does entail that it's dependent upon something else for its actualization. So if you're saying that you have something in a chain that does have potential, that means that there would be something that can actualize this potential, or it would depend upon something else in order to actualize said thing. Now, the thing that we're talking about when you're talking about starting this chain is not the beginning of the universe, for example, but the actualization of all potential right now, or the existence and sustaining of existence of everything right now. So that's why this thing must terminate in something that is pure existence, that doesn't receive anything. So the Aquinas' first way and his De Ente et Essentia, they go hand in hand pretty much. So I would disagree with Joe Schmidt on that point, but that is something that I've thought about as well. But yeah, you still gonna have this thing that is dependent upon something else if that potential were ever to be actualized. This would require you, if this chain is actually finite, it would require you to terminate in a thing that does not receive any actualization or cannot receive any actualization.
Well, okay, it's not okay. I have to admit, it's not super clear to me why, honestly, but because it seems like there is one thing that is the potential to exist, but there are other potentials other than the potential to exist. And it seems like it could have, okay, that potential to exist doesn't need to be actualized, but there could be other potentials. But whatever,
well, think of it in regards to existence, right? So, and I use this analogy all the time. So say for instance, the electricity that flows through these, right, is existence, right? These things either could exist or they cannot exist, right?
Okay.
So what this thing is an extension cord. The potential that it has is to give electricity to the things that are plugged into it, right?
Yeah.
Now, the fact that it is, so let's say like if we define an extension cord as that which gives electricity, right? That it is different from what it is pretty much. This thing could receive existence, but it doesn't have existence in itself. We're going to say the existence is going to be the electricity in this matter, right? So what it is just this thing, and that it is going to be the electricity that flows through it. There's a distinction.
Right.
Now, if I plug my phone into this thing, right, that doesn't pretty much have existence in itself, right? My phone is never going to be charged.
Right.
Right? It doesn't have this capability. Now, if I just multiply the amount of members where each thing in the chain does not have existence in itself, but receives existence from the previous member, and that goes on forever, we never have existence.
Yeah.
So you don't terminate anything that, just exists, but it exists insofar as it receives existence, because that's what it would mean to have potency.
Yeah.
But you would terminate in a thing that is existence itself, that is
Right.
pure existence. That's the same thing as being purely actual. So that's why you can't have this potency that is attached to this being. It would have to be purely that thing, purely actual, purely existent. It is its existence. So
Okay,
that's
yeah.
why I would disagree.
Okay. Maybe one last thing, one last question. Do you know what is called in the literature as, what is not in the literature as the gap problem? In this context, the gap problem is basically the question: why must this first being of pure actuality, why must this be a mind, a God, a conscious agent, an intelligent agent?
Yeah.
You know what is basically like, because an atheist could say, okay, sure, I agree that there is some kind of first cause, which is pure actuality, but it's some kind of natural thing in some way, like a singularity or a quantum field that is in some weird way is pure actuality, right?
Yeah.
So the gap problem is, how do you argue that this thing is a personal agent, a mind?
Yeah.
Right.
There's two different ways in which you could go about it. I think that there's one way that's easier. So from a being purely actual, you can deduce that that means like everything that receives actuality either is from this being or a chain that terminates in this being. To be the source of all actuality is to be all powerful. Therefore, this being is like all powerful. If you have any questions, but because then from here we could deduce omnipotence, omniscience as well. Do you want me to explain
Well,
something?
Yeah, I'm not sure if all actualities haven't been actually actualized in the universe, right?
Yeah,
Only
no, that's not. So power is the capacity to actualize potential, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all actualized potentials, so everything that is actualized, not everything that can be actualized, but all
Right.
that is actualized right now is either actualized by the purely actual actualizer or by a chain of actualizers that terminate in the purely actual actualizer.
Yeah.
So then all power ultimately derives from the purely actual actualizer.
All power that exists, all power that actually exists, not a logically possible power. You know what I mean? The thing has to have the power to create to cause the universe. It doesn't need to have more power. I don't see why it needs to have more power.
Well, to be the source from which all power derives is to be omnipotent.
All existent power.
That's fine because okay, so power being the capacity to actualize potential does not mean that potential must be actualized, right? So for example, like you have the power to, or you have the capacity to, I don't know, do heinous actions, or you have the power to become a bodybuilder if you want to, right? That doesn't mean that now you have to do said thing in order for this power to be true of you.
Yeah.
It's just that you have the capacity, right? So if all things that are logically possible are able to be actualized. This actualization is going to come from either the purely actual actualizer or a chain that terminates in it. So all that is logically possible, this power is going to be derived from the purely actual actualizer.
Yeah, but I don't think I need to account for the fact that all logically possible states of affairs will be actualized. I mean, I only need to explain why the universe was actualized, right? And I need to posit an actualizer that actualizes the universe. I don't see why it needs to
So this argument isn't concerned with the beginning of the universe.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with that. Because Aristotle, as well as Thomas Aquinas, didn't believe that from pure reason, you can conclude that the universe had a beginning, right? Like they didn't have telescopes looking all the way back. So they're not trying to prove the beginning of the universe, but rather they're saying, okay, right now, simultaneously at this moment, what is actualizing things right now? So the universe could be eternal in your view. That doesn't change anything about the fact that there is change right now. And for change to exist right now, there must exist this actualizer. So that means that all the actualization of potential that exists right now would still terminate in a chain at the very least that terminates in the first actual actualizer or the purely actual actualizer. That's pretty much what it's going to mean to be omnipotent. So
I still don't get why he's omnipotent. So I don't get
what's
it's not to be omnipotent.
You said why is it omnipotent?
Why does it have to be omnipotent? I mean, it has.
So
to
what do you think omnipotence is? Like, how would you define it?
It's the ability to to make any logically possible act, to create any logically possible state of affairs, for example.
Okay.
To make any logically possible thing.
Okay, so all things that are actualized, which means the capacity to be is actual, right? Right now.
Which means that they are actual, that they exist.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All things that are actual, all things that exist, for example, the universe. For me, all things that exist is the universe, right?
I'm saying all things. So this microphone sitting the way that it's sitting, our connection, all of that which is actual. Like our connection has the capacity to drop, right? It's being sustained by a power that's, different from us, right?
Yeah.
All things that are actual right now are pretty much getting their actualization from the purely actual actualizer. Now, if omnipotence is the capacity to actualize potentials, if power is the capacity to actualize potentials, and everything that is actualized right now is actualized by the purely actual actualizer, then this being would be omnipotent.
Honestly, I'm still like stuck there. I mean, because everything that is actualized right now is not the same as all things that logically can be actualized, right?
Yeah.
So the thing only has to be able to actualize everything that is actualized right now. It doesn't need to be able to do more.
So what that means though, okay, I see the confusion now. What that means is that he's actualizing substances that have true capacities to be different. So okay, so if you have a true capacity to be different, right?
Yeah.
Then he's also actualizing your substance that has the capacity to be different, which means that he can actualize that difference if it were to come to be.
Okay. No, but yeah, sure. My capacity to be different, we could say is my potential, right? It's a potential of me. But in my view, potentials are not real. They don't have an ontology. I'm an anomaly, so I don't think that potentials like really exist. So he doesn't really need to actualize those potentials in any way.
Yeah. Right? So, and this is here's the problem, right? Is that in regards to potential, right? You're saying that what is it about? Why is water able to boil? Let me ask that question.
Right.
Why is water able to boil?
Yeah, because the molecules can be separated, for example.
Why?
Why? Because they are not stuck together in a strong way.
Yeah. So that's true, right? But the reason as to why water can boil is because water has a real capacity to heat up and to boil, right? And this can
Yeah.
be explained by the ways in which the molecules of H2O function,
Sure.
right? But there does lie this real capacity for water to heat up and to boil.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, that's all that potential is going to be, is saying that, okay, in this substance, not saying that, oh, there's this thing that we can pick out, but within this substance, there does lie a real capacity for this thing to be different.
Sure.
And this real capacity explains how it's able to be different.
Yeah.
Right. And according to this real capacity, which is going to be obviously in alignment with its nature, is going to explain the amount of difference that it can, take on. Like, you can never be an elephant. That's not, that's not in your potential. It's not in accordance with your nature. So, okay. So do we understand the omnipotence part?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So then if a being is omnipotent, right, then it doesn't have arbitrary limits on its power.
Yeah.
Okay. Cognitive power is a power.
Sure.
Okay. Therefore, this being would have cognitive power.
I mean, it doesn't have an arbitrary limit in his. What is the what is the other type of power? What is the power to create, for example? Cognitive power is the power to know.
Mhm.
What is the power to create things, for example? What is the power called?
It would just be power.
Yeah, it will just be power. I mean, but it will have like infinite, no arbitrary limits in his power to create. But it doesn't mean that he has another kind of power. Like,
Well, it's not just power to create; it's power to sustain.
Yeah.
Right. So, and all right, one, you have, omnipotent being doesn't have arbitrary limits on its power.
Yeah.
There is a type of power that is cognitive power. Therefore, this being would have cognitive power, obviously, because otherwise that's just an arbitrary limit. But then you also have the argument from the principle of proportionate causality.
Mhm.
Do you know about the principle of proportionate? So the principle of proportionate causality is just going to state that whatever is in the effect must be in the cause in some way, either formally, virtually, or immanently. Now, if this being is purely actual, it can't exist formally. So like formally, in the way in which we're using it here, formally means that you exist in the same material way. So like fire will able to give water heat because it exists in that same exact formal way, right? It's formally contained. Virtually still, it entails potency. Potency. It means that you're able to give something that doesn't exactly exist in you, but you're able to bring it about in some way. So it's potential, but then immanently means that you pretty much contain this thing in a higher, more perfective way, like how the mind contains a triangle, a triangularity, right? It's not that you have this thing formally, as in you are actually a triangle, but you contain it in your mind immanently, in which you can understand the concept and bring it about. So one, like, you can either go to, shut up, crisscross. So you can either go to say that means that they exist in an abstract manner, as in the intellect. Then therefore this purely actualizer has an intellect, or you can go from the fact that he created beings with intellect, therefore he must also have an intellect, at least formally, virtually, or immanently.
Right.
You could take whichever one you want.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one pushback someone could say to that is that there are the possibility of emergent properties, like properties such as intellect that emerge from things without requiring an intellect source, for example. And another thing I wanted to say is earlier when you talk about cognitive power, like it's not clear, for example, a star has the power, the actual power to create elements, to create planets even, right? but it has zero. It does that with zero cognitive power, right? So you can have power to create something without cognitive power in a way. So that's another thing that I
Yeah, but
would
it's
say.
not. So one. All right. So say for instance, emergent properties, right? So say for instance that this thing. Well, I mean, either way it goes. Say for instance, okay, this thing created minds, therefore it has a mind. Okay, you don't want to use that argument. It still means that all that exists would have to exist in this thing in a way that doesn't entail potential, which is still going to entail intellect. Because it's going to exist in an abstract manner as in the intellect, the same way that you contain triangularity in an abstract manner as in the intellect. So this being would still have intellect. Like even if you wanted to say that our cognitive abilities or consciousness arose from emergent properties, that would still be, it wouldn't defeat the argument for this being to have an intellect.
Okay, sure, okay. Anyway, one last thing. Do you want to know what Rob Kuhn, the argument that Rob Kuhn makes as to why that pure actuality being has to be a mind?
Yeah, I haven't seen his argument.
He has a video on capturing Christianity. It's very good. It's called the gap problem. Why does the first cow has to be a mind? I was just watching that video. I recommend it. It's a very great video, very highly philosophical. And what he says is that all material things have, like, some things that have potentiality. For example, it could have if it has a charge, it could have a different charge. If it has mass, it could have a different mass. So he say that because all material things have potentiality, then the first purely actual thing cannot be a material thing. It has to be immaterial. He says then that the only immaterial things that we know are either minds or, like abstract things. And because abstract things cannot cause anything, like it has to be a mind. That's what he said.
That's a good argument too.
I recommend it. Rob Cohen in Capturing Christianity, Why the First Cow Has to Be a Mind is really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it later. It's an hour 49. I was reading his article and his take on acting potent, the argument for motion, which is really good as well.
Yeah, he likes that argument. He loves that argument.
It's a really good argument. But man, I appreciate you coming up, man.
Yeah. To you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. God bless, man.
Bye.
I'm not even gonna hold, man. That conversation drained me. He had me walk through every single nook and cranny of the argument, man.
I've never actually seen you go that deep, like, into the argument.
Bruh, he had me walk through every single nook and cranny. He was like, nah, bruh. You finna give the argument for active potency. You finna get an argument as to why potency can't actualize itself. You finna get an argument as to why this can't regress infinitely. You finna get an argument as to why this being has an intellect. Yeah, shout out to
the argument as to why there needs to be a why.
Man, shout out to modern atheism though, man. He's a good dude.
Shout out to Light.
He has a YouTube channel.
Amen.
But he's a really good interlocutor.
You see, your favorite YouTuber wouldn't do what Elijah just did. I guarantee you that. 100%. He wouldn't have done it. He would have said my view's too low and dropped them.
What if my favorite YouTuber is Abrahamos?
Abrahamos would have did it. Abrahamos would have did it. 2 viewers in here. It don't matter.
Category error.
Shout out to him though. This that rewatchable stream. Glory be to God. You know it's crazy. It's like I was like, bro, like I knew that I was gonna have to like really get in the weeds. I didn't know what the topic was gonna be about today. Like before I hopped on live. But I told Lexus, I was like, bro, like, I don't know, I feel nervous. Like I'm tired. I got off work. Like, I don't know. It feels, I'm always nervous before I go live.
Yeah.
Huh? I'm always
nervous. They saying this live got replay value.
Glory be to God. But today I was like, yo, like I don't know. It feel like I'm gonna get tested today. But nah, he has some. He said, why does it have to be purely actual? How come he just can't be actual? I said, damn. Now I gotta run through the Deinte.
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
dang, I gotta run the Deinte too, man. He had me in a bag, man. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, at least it shows he's really thinking about these issues.
Yeah.
Folks don't be thinking about these issues. And if we're being honest, you could have just framed it as in a hypothetical syllogism, and then he would have to
Shut
disprove
up.
it.
Shut up. What the deal is, Basil? He said that was a great question. Chill, bro. Don't be complimenting the ops. No, just playing. It was a good question. It was a good question. No. Nah, what's the name? So I'm reading Barry Miller's. He has a book, From Existence to God. It's pretty much like his take on the argument is called Deinte et Essentia, which means like essence and existence, pretty much. Which Thomas Aquinas is going to argue that there's a distinction between what you are and that you are,
And creatures.
and creatures. And he starts it off with like an analogy, showing you that at the very least these things are virtually distinct. So hold on. So at the very least virtually distinct, and he gives an example of like a unicorn or something like that, where where pretty much like you could conceive of what a unicorn is without pretty much knowing that it is not, that it doesn't exist. So you can know what a thing is without the existence ever coming into the factor. So from there, then he also argues for like this real distinction between essence and existence. Now, David, what did I say? Did I say David Miller? I can't. Barry Miller's argument is he uses like this logical argument for a distinction between essence and existence, which I've been reading through. And he pretty much says that in atomic propositions, which is just going to be like a proposition that doesn't have any connectives. So something like light is black, right? Or he uses an example of a dog. He says Fido exists. Fido is the name of the dog, and then exist is going to be treated as a predicate. Now, predicates have actual ontology, and like the way in which you're going to understand these things is that you have to understand the parts before you can understand the whole proposition. So you have to understand what is meant by Fido, and you have to understand, a thing about existence. And then these things together are going to be treated as two parts that come together, which is going to be an argument for the real distinction between what this thing is, like what Fido is, and that this thing is. And then it's going to be treated as a predicate. And then, it goes back into like a kind of logical per se causal series, or a logical per se series, which is going to get you to a being that is purely existent. It's really, really cool formulation of it. I know that sounded really, really nerdy, but once I get it down, like once I understand how to articulate it in regular words as best as I can, then I'll start running it more and explaining it a little bit better. But that's what I understand so far. What's up, though?
So really,
what's up, bro?
What'd you say, Abe?
I was just gonna say, so really, if you're trying to dumb it down, you're just saying that the universe got potential.
What's
up, babe?
What's the deal?
Yo, what's up, guys? Yo, yeah. So I kind of have a question, just about like salvation and stuff. And like, so I've been kind of learning a lot about just like textual criticism sort of thing.
Aren't you Muslim?
And it kind of got me, huh?
Aren't you Muslim now?
Me? What? Whoa, what?
That's what
Where
I.
did you get that from?
That's what I heard. I heard that you went
From who?
And that's what people say. They say Wave is Muslim now. Are you not Muslim?
Who told you that, bro?
Are you Muslim? Yeah, no, bro.
Bro, no. I just posted like, I mean, I have a Twitter. Like, I just posted on my story like showing like a scientific error in the Quran. But I'm not. I'm
Really?
not
'Cause I
Muslim,
heard
bro.
you
Who
call-
said I was Muslim, bro?
I heard you call God Allah the other day.
No.
Nah. But nah. All right. So what about salvation though?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I was gonna say. Wait. Did you actually hear that from someone though?
Nah, I was just messing with
Bro, I was about to say. I was like, yo, bro, you gotta get.
you.
You gotta get them checked out, bro.
What's up?
But yeah. So real quick. Yeah. So trying to think how to formulate it really simply. So, I guess if you just like hypothetically, even though we're talking about me here, I just say hypothetically, you know. If there's just like someone who believes like I'm trying to figure out how to formulate it, man, my bad.
No, go ahead.
Like if there's someone who just like if he truly like wants to know the truth, right? And let's just say, you know, Christianity, obviously, let's just like say it's true for the sake of this argument or saying, right?
Mhm.
And but like obviously like I don't know that to be true 100%. And like I'm not sure if like Jesus said who he said he was 100%, but like I guess I can like have you say like you have faith or like maybe like hope or something, right? And you I'm trying to figure out how to like formulate it because it's more than just like faith, right? Well, it goes deeper than faith.
Mhm.
But let's just say like you're never really sure, right? Like you never really know if you can like fully put yourself out into like the position where like, okay, yeah, I'm like a Christian, like I do believe this is true. And but like you always sort of like have it on the back burner of your mind where like you want it to be true more than anything, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that person dies
Mhm.
and you know, obviously they weren't like a Christian per se,
Yeah.
but they spent their whole life sort of wishing, hoping that like something would happen to them, and like they kind of like thought it was like true to an extent, but like they were never really like there was never something presented to them that like made them continue. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like I'm sure you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
No, I get what you're saying. I would say, well, I mean, only God is gonna know what happens to them, but um, I don't. I think people like that fall in the category of the Jews in Jerusalem and the Pharisees during the times of Jesus.
Yeah.
That you might have all these things. Like say for instance, okay, you have the evidence of the minimal facts argument. You have the evidence of miracles that are shown still today throughout the church. You have like personal testimonies. You have like all of these things that is sufficient evidence to be able to conclude that okay, Christianity is true. And you still don't believe. I feel like it's a lot like Jesus performing miracles and you know these people seeing these miracles and still saying no, you're not, you know, who I think you are because you're not doing the things that I want you to do. I think that you have to ask yourself the question, okay, what would be sufficient? And be fair.
Right.
Like what's the standard that you accept that something else is true?
Right. So sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think at the very least I would say just be fair. Now, like if you're truly seeking, like God would know. I personally wouldn't bet on myself to say, oh, bro, I really want this to be true. So if I die, I think God gon', you know, I think he gonna understand. I wouldn't personally make that bet on myself because I could lie to myself all the time. But if you're truly seeking, I would ask myself the question, what would be convincing evidence that Like, what is this evidence that I'm looking for that I have not yet seen? And is it fair for me to ask for such evidence?
Right. Yeah, so I get what you're saying when you said, is it fair to me to ask for such evidence? Because like obviously like with what you laid out, like it seems pretty like it would be true. But I guess what kind of stops me, and the reason why I even brought this up was because I mean I don't want to get like too into like textual criticism or whatever,
No,
but
it's fine. If this is the thing
you
that's
know,
hindering you, then please like bring up
yeah,
everything that you know. Like,
yeah, yeah, well, okay, so I guess some would just be like lately I've been learning about the Book of Daniel, right? And because I just watched Inspiring Philosophy, you know, Destroy Libiano, it was pretty fire, it was pretty
mhm.
entertaining, and then brought up the Book of Daniel a lot, and I've been I've been researching like the scholarship in it, and like I'm sure you know that like a lot of scholars they like say like it's like a forgery and whatever, and like uh Daniel was like written way after the events and like first person tone and whatever, or like something like uh Judges 5, which I think I brought up to you before, you know, like
Mhm.
stuff like that, and the whole because like Judges 5 is like one of the oldest pieces of literature in the Bible, and like I'm sure you know like the whole
What's their reasons for saying that
so
Daniel was
so yeah
written
so
later?
like so yeah so the whole like reason like to boil down to, like I guess it would just be I just feel like I don't know if there's enough like evidence to sway me in like a lot of the realms of Christianity. I
No, I'm
probably but
saying
like I believe there's like yeah.
what's the reasons that scholars say that Daniel was written past the events?
Well it would just be I guess manuscript evidence, and when we have the manuscript evidence, I guess they just say that like is written down. Which I mean isn't really like to me, this isn't like that good of an argument, I guess. So maybe I should have said something else. But
You
like
know, a lot of people they'll attribute, especially prophetic writings, to later dates
yeah.
because they believe that prophecies can't come true. Like, there's no way for
Yeah.
you to have known such information in such detail. So, if this were to come before, obviously it would be a evidence, but this is impossible. So it must have been written later.
Yeah. And even if it was written later, I still think it's like interesting like Daniel 9. You know, Daniel talks about the Messiah coming like before or at the fall of the second temple, which obviously Jesus did. So like
Yeah.
so sometimes I think it's not like really the best argument. I was just naming stuff that I was just like looking into recently, but yeah, I don't know. I guess like the crux of it would just be like all the evidence that is laid out in front of me. I think it is more plausible than I think most people realize. Excuse me, but
So then
yeah,
what
I
is
don't know.
it
Like
like what
to
actually
me,
is
it's
it
just
to
like it
you?
hasn't like fully convinced me. Like I still call myself. I mean, maybe I'm like a heretical Christian or something, but I still call myself like a follower, like a Christian, right? Just because in my heart, you know. But like, yeah.
I mean, I would need to know what is it what is it that you need to see?
Well, I guess we can go. I mean, God, I have to look at my notes. I really just wanted to ask that one question, but just because I was wondering,
I mean, so
like
to
if I
me,
were,
it's not just about what scholars say, but the reason as to why they say it. Like, otherwise, you just
yeah.
like
So I mean,
appealing to authority.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah. I wouldn't do that. Plus, a lot of them I don't even agree with them half the time. I guess I would just start off with existence of God.
Okay.
It's a pretty like the starting point, obviously, to everything, and
Do you believe that God
um,
exists?
I believe it's more rational to probably believe in a like higher being, like a divine, like yeah, like I would say I believe God exists, but like there's just not enough evidence to fully like convince me. Does that make sense? Like I put it's more probable that he exists than not, but
What arguments have you heard for the existence of God?
I mean, I have contingency, kalam, tag. I mean, I've heard like a lot of them. I mean, I've heard you give some.
You've been in here so many times, and you never heard me run the argument from motion.
No, I've heard you run an argument for change. Yeah, change over time and motion. Yeah, you use Thomas Aquinas.
Not change over time. No, it's not change over time.
Yeah, you use Thomas Aquinas though, right?
Yeah, Thomas Aquinas isn't change over time though.
Oh, then bro, I'm misremembering them. My bad, bro. But yeah, he I know you run Thomas Aquinas.
You almost got kicked, but he's
bro. I'm rusty, bro. I'm rusty. Bro.
I'm just kidding.
I'm rusty, bro. I'm rusty, man. My bad. I'm rusty.
Nah, but yeah. So, what about any of those arguments isn't convincing to you?
See, this is like where it's weird to me, right? Because like I'm saying it's not convincing, but like I do believe that there's it's more probable that a being exists, but I also
okay. So here we'll just
that's why I was kind of like just saying that. I understand what
but you understand what a deductive argument is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like in a deductive argument, if the premises are true, and like the inference rule is, there's a valid inference rule being used, and the conclusion necessarily follows, right?
Right.
So like it entails the necessity of the conclusion if the premises are true. Now for the argument for motion, right, when we say that change is the actualization of potential, or change exists, and that's what change is. But a potential can't actualize itself. Therefore, whatever changes is changed by something else. Are you cool there so far?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you have any questions, if you have any premises where you're like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with that, I don't understand why that's the case, I would rather you ask questions than to leave this live still being like, I'm not really fully convinced because you didn't ask questions. I'd rather you actually have something to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about like a lot of stuff, but mostly it was just that one, because I wanted just to ask the one question I asked. Because I mean, to be honest, like it's kind of a bunch of things that just are in my mind about the whole.
I don't know, Wave. It seems like you say that you want to believe, but you really don't. Because I hear you go up on my live. You've been up on my lives a couple times. You've been up on Jordan's live, and whenever we try to ask you like questions to boil down on your point, you get really, 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 really vague, and it seems like you don't want to further explore.
Yeah, I mean,
you always say that you got to get your notes, and it's like, okay, you know that we're here. We kind of have a schedule. Like you could come up anytime and have a full blown conversation if you're truly seeking. And it seems like you're scared that Christianity actually might be true rather than there not just being enough.
Oh, nah. I wouldn't say that at all. I just, I really don't know what it is. I feel like maybe it is a hard thing. I don't know. I just think that, either that or I'm just not well equipped enough to like engage in like the debate.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's
not a debate.
No, it's a debate, but it's just in the sense that you're going to bring the things that are actually hindering you from your faith that you supposedly want so desperately to believe in. Cool. Do that. And then we're going to see if Christianity actually has answers for these things. Now, if Christianity doesn't have answers for these things, then there's reason to further investigate, right? Now, if you're struggling on the existence of God, there's arguments, there's questions to be asked as to whether or not God actually exists, right? Is Christianity actually true? What does the evidence look like for that? What does the evidence that Christianity have? Does this align with the evidence that I would need in order to see that Christianity is actually true? And genuinely asking those questions and seeking those answers. If you're not ready for that, then you're just not ready for that. But I would say that, if you're trying to figure out if you were to die today, would you be saved? I don't know. I wouldn't like my chances if that was my outlook. Because if I'm being dead serious, like
$10.
No, I know.
Keep teaching.
I appreciate you, Cyrus. God bless. But
Keep.
yeah, no, because if I'm sitting here and I'm genuinely seeking, and I'm up here and I'm not asking questions or getting vague when people are like literally asking me to tell them what's hindering them, I wouldn't like my chances if I stood in front of God and said, "Hey, man, I gave it all I got." That doesn't seem. It doesn't
You're
seem
right.
true.
You're right. No, you're right though. You're right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you could come back anytime though, bro. Like, unless you want to talk now.
Bro. No, thanks for the answer though, bro. Yeah, I appreciate it. Cause yeah, I don't know. I was wondering.
Okay.
But
anytime
bro,
you got questions,
next
bro,
time I
to
got
come
you
back.
though.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
God bless, man.
God bless you, bro.
Pray for him. Ventus.
Yeah, premise one, a complete principle consists of a form accompanied by a suppositum. Premise two, there's one principle of the Son, that being the Father begetting. Premise three, there's one principle of the Spirit, the Father and the Son spirating. Premise four, the principle of the Son is not identical to the principle of the Spirit. Conclusion, we can enumerate two principles according to a difference. Before you ask, the inference rule is leave me alone.
Okay. All right. So as long as we understand that this thing is valid, then now I can further engage.
Yeah, now we talk.
Yeah. I love the way that you took away the ability for me to question what the inference rule is by, telling me to leave you alone. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm not Catholic in the first place, so
what would be the need for inference rules?
Exactly.
That's
what I was thinking. When I was typing up the argument, I was like, do I have to have an inference rule? And then I said, I don't be going to mass for real.
And exactly, if you don't follow the Pope, then what do you?
If I don't believe the Pope is God, I don't need an inference rule.
Yeah, what's the point, bro? So yeah, for me, I just reject the conclusion.
Actually, the church fathers reveal that inference rules are from God. So he's making it clear everyone must use them.
Everyone must use them
in everyday life.
They said, what's it? We was watching God Logic cross exam. God Logic asked a question. Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, said, "What's the inference rule?"
Oh my goodness! Yeah, guys, questions can't happen.
Yeah, bro. What's the name? JCDZA.
Now, what if God Logic said bonus opponents?
Those are flags.
Those are what?
The flags. They just like the iPhone not updating them. I don't know.
I got you.
Yeah.
You say it's what is this? The pride flag? Is what else?
Whoa. Yo,
that's crazy.
I'm just playing. I can't see. But all right, what's up?
No. They Congolese and stuff.
Dang.
Quick, right? I just wanted to see because I was here
like
5 lives ago.
You broke up. What'd you say?
Oh yeah, my fault. I just said I'm Christian, but I was here like 5 lives ago when you were like talking to Bear, and then y'all brought up the thing talking about how many numbers is the number 3. And I was thinking, is it like, I know there's no analogy that can perfectly describe the Trinity, but I was wondering, is there a way to is it possible to prove the Trinity exists by saying that 3 can be distinct in spelling, meaning, and pronunciation?
Well, that's not how you would prove that the Trinity exists.
Yeah,
I understand.
So in order to prove the existence of the Trinity, that's only going to be done through revelation. That's not going to be done through like logic and reasoning. Now, to prove that the Trinity makes sense, you can use obviously logic and reasoning and scripture.
And analogies.
And you could use analogies like that. But not for its existence,
Okay. Would that analogy work though? Like saying that 3 can be distinct via pronunciation, spelling, and meaning? Would that be a good analogy?
It's just an analogy to show that a thing can be 3 in one way and 1 in another way.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we use all types of analogies in regards to that.
Because their contention is often, how can something be singular and multiple at the same time?
Yeah.
And so we just provide an example of that being the case, and obviously it's going to be in different respects to show that it is possible, right?
Yeah.
Not to show that the Trinity exists. Something can be possible and make sense without it being the case, without it actually existing.
Okay. Well, that's it. God bless y'all. Stay safe.
God bless you.
Yeah, that's it. How I get off this thing?
Hey, bro,
I
go.
shall lead you.
Go, bro.
Oh.
Jay.
I got it.
Dang, bro,
I
why
do
you
too.
remove him? God,
I'm
oh,
just trying to
bro.
be a good Samaritan. Next time I let people struggle, bro.
Yeah, bro, you
Y'all
got
heard it. This is what Elijah wants.
you supposed to let him struggle, man. They start panicking.
Struggle leads to greatness.
Mm-hmm. Oh shoot, we got
Not real distinctions.
real is back. The veil is back. Test.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Okay. First of all, I'm not really good in English, so my bad if I'm like misspell something. So I'm
misspell.
He means mispronounce.
Oh, mispronounce.
Yeah. So I don't think that we
Nice
can
to-
have free will
that'll be
if
interpreted.
God is omnipotent, omniscient, all the thing that describe God. Because if you know all the thing that will happen, you're directly gonna do the thing that you think that will happen. So how can we have how can we have free will if all the things that we will do in our life are already known? Do you see where I'm...
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between you going to do something and then it being necessary that you're going to do it, right? So simply saying that you're going to go outside tomorrow doesn't mean that it's necessarily the case that you're going to go outside.
Do I have to say something else or?
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My friend was responding to you. And
oh, my bad. I don't hear him.
Yeah, I know. I forgot that I needed to share. So
He was just waiting in silence.
Yeah, he was. I was just saying.
Oh my!
I said he was just looking blankly at the screen like that. He probably thought he broke me. All right, no, go ahead. Hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so all that we have to do to preserve free will is to make a case that with respect to our choices, they are not necessarily the case, right? Such that other possibilities are possible. And so whenever you say, well, God already knows that we're going to do X, Y, and Z, simply from the fact of us going to do something doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to do it, right? I can say that I'm going to go outside tomorrow without that being necessarily the case that I'm going to go outside tomorrow, because I could have stayed inside tomorrow.
Is it not necessarily the case if God thinks that you're going to do that? Example, if like God wrote in the beginning of the universe that you will drink coffee at 10 p.m. in the morning, and 10 p.m. come, you're obligated. It's necessary that you will drink this coffee because God cannot make an error.
Well, no, right? Because what you're saying is that it's true that you're going to drink this coffee, not that it's necessarily true, right? So all that follows from God knowing that you're going to do this and that is that it's going to be true that you're going to do this and that, not that it's necessarily true, meaning that it couldn't have been any other way.
But it can't be another way. Like if God thinks that you will do something, all the other possibility go away directly.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a statement like, if God knows X, then X will happen, right? But that doesn't mean that it would be a different thing to say that if God knows X, then X is necessary, right? Because all you're saying with the first one is you're saying that this thing is true. But what you're saying with the second one, you're saying is that it's necessarily true. So I understand it might seem confusing because you're saying that, well, God, it can't be wrong, right? He can't be wrong. So it seems that whatever he knows, it has to happen, right? But you're thinking of it the wrong way, right? The reason God knows it is because he's outside of time and he's able to see all things at once. Now, Right.
Mhm.
Right. And so it's not
Yeah.
because of the fact that it's not because of the fact that this thing has to happen. This thing necessarily happens, right? And the thing doesn't
But
happen because God knows it, right?
but like if we put it, I will try to explain it another way. If like we are in the beginning of the universe and like God is in the position that He will start to create the universe. So like God, if we put like God in the library, He choose in the library there is a ton of different type of universe with all the possibility that could be happen, and He choose the one that is our universe. When He choose the one that is our universe, all the things that follow are going to happen. When you choose this one, it
Yeah.
is actively making you do all the things that you will do in your life.
Well, this is a different situation because in this case, God is the one causing all the actions that occur within the universe. Whereas we would deny that, we wouldn't say that God is the cause of the evil within the universe, for example. And so when God creates the world, He's not creating every single action within the world, right?
But like it's a cause effect. I don't know how to say it in English. It's like a cause effect, like effect. Like if you start the universe, all the things that will happen will always happen. If we restart the universe, all the things that happen will happen again. Like there's no way to change the things that will happen. Ah,
Well, we would deny that. We would say that it is possible for other things to happen. I mean, if you're gonna say, well, it's not possible because God knows it, I mean, we would
no,
just
no,
ask,
but
what's the argument for that? What's the argument for if God knows this thing, then something else isn't possible?
if God repeat it, if God,
Yeah, if God knows that, for example, I'm gonna go outside tomorrow. If God knows I'm gonna go outside tomorrow, then it's impossible for me to stay inside tomorrow.
yeah. No, but
We would ask, what's the argument for something like that?
you respond to that. I think that you give a good argument. I'm telling that God cause as the is the like the first cause, and all the things that happen because of this cause. Like a chain of events. If you start again, all the chain of events will be the same. There's no way that it will change.
I mean, so the thing is with that, God's causation is not like such that it produced like a necessary effect. Like, yes, God is the first cause of all things, and without God causing being the first cause, nothing else would have occurred. But this doesn't mean that this effect, which ultimately arose from this first cause, was a necessary effect, right?
If we
Like,
look
for
at if
example,
I,
without God creating the
Mhm.
universe, Adam would have never fell into sin. But that doesn't mean that Adam falling into sin was a necessary effect of God creating the universe.
But like if okay, I will try to be in a micro thing. Like if we take like your day, if you start again your day, you will do the exact same thing that you did. Like if we erase your memory and you start your day again, you will choose all the same thing that you did. Do you know where?
I mean, you're just saying that it's not possible for me to choose something else. I mean, we don't see
Yeah,
why that's the
exactly.
case.
Is it?
Yeah, but I don't see why that's the case. No, it is possible for you to do other things.
Yeah,
If we erase your
all
memory,
it's saying, bro, all it's saying is that the thing that God knows are the things that you freely choose.
Yeah.
if we erase your memory and you start your day
Okay.
again, you start. What do you say?
I said all we're saying is that the thing that God knows are the things that you freely choose. That's what God knows. He
But I
knows
don't.
your free
Mhm.
decisions.
But I don't understand where the free part of the thing happen. If it's all a effect to cause scenario, where is the free will happening?
So
Well,
the
God is the one that's causing. God is the one that causes our intellect and will to be, right. The thing that gives us the capacity to make free choices.
yeah.
Yeah, but where is the free choice in our? We can't have free choice if all the things that happen are cause and effect. Like if you take
What?
something, example, if you eat a
No, it's not
banana,
true.
it's an my bad if I'm
So look, if you know, for example, that if you have a kid, they're going to mess up, right?
Mhm.
You know, like what they're going to do with their free will that's going to lead to said consequence. That does not then mean that they don't have any free will because you're the one who brought them into being, bring them into existence. The thing that you know is what they're going to do with their free will.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
our life, if each thing that we do, okay, I understand why. Okay,
Yeah.
if mm, if okay, maybe I'm wrong.
To
And
say that like it to say that God knowing what we're gonna do means that we don't have free will. It would just entail a contradiction because that means that the thing he knows isn't really our choice, which is what the whole argument is based on. In order for them to try to make a contradiction out of it.
but each thing that okay, but I'm repeating myself. I will just give you the point. You're right. And I had another fast question.
Okay.
If do you think that the theory of evolution is true?
The what?
Evolution theory.
Oh, some theories. Like I don't believe in macroevolution, but you could believe in macroevolution.
Like, do you think that animals were there way before human?
You can. It doesn't change anything about Christianity. Like you could hold that and be a
Yeah,
Christian.
but like if the animals were there before Christianity, why were they suffering before? Before
Good
humanity,
question. It's
my
a
bad.
very good question.
There's different
Very, very
answers to
good.
this. Do you want to answer, Abe?
Yeah,
You
so,
seem
so
excited.
yeah, I guess you're right. There are different ways you can answer this. However, what at least how I would answer is that when it comes to suffering and death, all of these things happened before the fall of Adam and Eve. However, they didn't happen to Adam and Eve because they were the ones that were made in God's image. They were the ones that had what we call I forgot.
Grace?
Basically, they were the ones that were created with grace within them, right? And so it wasn't until they lost that grace through their fall that they started to experience suffering and death. However, you can believe that other things like plants or brute animals experience suffering and death. And I mean, this kind of seems like it has to be the case given the fact that they were allowed to eat of all the other plants from the garden, and in order to eat, that involves the destruction of matter, which would be kind of a form of death.
But like before Adam and Eve, the world was perfect, no? No, even when they were there,
No.
before they eat the apple, the world
Well, kind of
wasn't
depends
perfect.
what you mean. I mean, if you mean by perfect that there was no like corruption, there was no suffering or death, no, I wouldn't say that because again, death is death. If you say that death is the loss of life, right? And in order to eat a plant, the plant is living. It has to die once you consume it, and so there is death still there. But it's even if you just want to restrict it to plants, there still is a kind of death there.
Yeah, but what is the difference between before they eat the apple and after? It's just like the human change. It's just
Yeah,
that the
that's
human changes.
changing the human nature. Yeah.
Okay, so God just create the world and just make suffer the animal for no reason.
Well, so what the church teaches, at least my church, is that all that you're obligated to affirm as a Christian is that Adam and Eve were immortal before their sin, right? You don't have to affirm that the world. It's not like you have to believe that the world was imperfect or that you have to believe the world was perfect. I'm just saying I think that it wasn't perfect, and but you do have to believe Adam and Eve were immortal.
And why? Okay. Okay. So God is not all loving for animal. Is that what I'm understanding with that? What I'm understanding?
What do you mean
Like
all
God,
loving for anything?
because like he don't care if the initial like the if animals suffer is not his problem. Like because humans suffer, he didn't accept that humans suffer. They have to sin, do the first sin. So after that, he accept that they suffer. But animals, they just got like suffer from their initial point.
Well, again, he gave humans a special grace, which he was not obligated to give to humans. So it doesn't mean that he doesn't love animals or doesn't love plants or anything. It just I would just say that it means that he loved humans more. And that doesn't reduce him being all loving, because him being all loving means that he loves everything. Everything that exists, he loves.
Yeah, I don't know if okay. Oh, okay. I will ask
Obviously,
you.
he loves
Thank you.
humans more than he loves like mosquitoes. I mean,
Whoa.
Okay.
Right.
So I will let like other people come in the life.
All right, for
Thank
sure,
you
man.
for your time.
No, thank you,
Bye.
man. God bless you.
My bad for my English.
No, you were good.
very good.
God bless.
Thank you.
Better than Elijah's English.
I just want to. I do want to point out that Abe was explaining something for like 15 minutes, and I said exactly what he said in 2 minutes, and he was like, "Oh, all right, bro, you right."
Nah, you low-key said it better. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot to mention that the thing God knows is the choice. So thank you for that.
I love you, Abe. Jonan, Jonan.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very well. Well, I just wanted to more or less ask you that I've been thinking that way for some time, and I do believe that there is actually one of the biggest arguments I always heard for Christianity and for God is the part of morality. The idea that how can you define a morality if you don't have God? How are you going to define it? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a God that can define an objective morality, I do believe that this is one of the arguments. What I wanted more or less to talk is that I do believe that there can be an argument to say that the God in the Bible doesn't truly have an objective morality. So I do believe there is one argument inside of the Bible and one argument outside of the Bible. So more or less that is what I wanted to talk. If it's all right with you.
I mean, okay, you just want to prove that the God of the Bible is immoral?
No. What I'm arguing is that the Bible the God in the Bible the Bible in itself doesn't show an objective morality.
Okay.
So the argument that I have is the following: if we take the Bible, especially we're just going to see the New Testament right now. In the New Testament, it clearly states that Jesus doesn't go directly and doesn't criminalize or doesn't say that it's bad the slavery. Clearly, the idea of slavery is obviously against the idea of what a God or especially the Christian God will be okay with it.
Where do you get
God,
that? What's the argument for that?
Hmm?
What's the argument for that?
I haven't finished. This is just something I'm stating. Jesus talks about slavery and he doesn't condemn it. He actually has laws that you have to follow for slavery. This is correct.
Where?
He says that the slave must be good to the master, etc., etc.
Do you want to pull up the verse?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
A light.
Yeah.
All right, this is an incomplete deck of cards. So I need you to what's the name? Just pick a random card, and I'm gonna see if I could.
Pick a card.
Pick a
You're
random
telling me
card.
to pick a card.
At
How
random.
do you know what I'm gonna
just
pick?
You're gonna say it, and I'm gonna see if I could cut to the card that you picked just randomly.
Okay.
All right, what's your card?
Okay, in the New Testament, in Ephesians 6:5, it says, "And the servants must obey the masters."
Okay.
Wait, is he
Okay,
able to hear me, by the way?
You said in Matthew 6:5?
no, Ephesians.
Ephesians?
Yeah, sorry, I have it in Spanish, different language.
Okay, that's the letter of Paul.
Yeah, but
you said that Jesus said it, but okay.
so, okay.
So slaves obey your master. Okay.
Well, what I was saying at the end of the day is that the Bible in itself doesn't truly condemn slavery. So, if we apply the idea that slavery is something that clearly God would not be forward, it would not something that God would be okay with it, why in the Bible does it not condemn it at the end of the day? Most of the argument I heard is that we have to take the Bible in the historical moment. We also have to understand the Bible in the historical moment that it was said. So my question a little bit as here stand is why is something's going to be correct in one moment of a historical moment, another won't? If the moment is going to depend if something is good or is not, morality cannot be objective in this case.
Yeah, no. So, no Christian is going to say that. Listen, no, Light. I did not hear what you picked, but no Christian is going to
Oh, I
say
said
like that.
spades.
You have to pick a number and then a type.
Oh.
Or a face. But no Christian is going to say that, oh, the law that God imposes is like God's perfect moral code or anything. And then like that's not the Christian position. So like the law in the Old Testament is not the perfect moral law that we're supposed to follow for all time. That's never supposed to be changed. That wasn't the point of the law at all. And that's what the Bible says. Like the purpose of the law was to show like how much help we needed in being holy, how many ways in which we're able to go wrong, and like all the things that prevent us from being in God's good grace, pretty much. Like that damage this relationship with God. But it's not God's perfect moral code. There's things that God permits that isn't like pretty much like his perfect moral code that he's imposing on the Israelites. And then in regards to Christianity, so like you bring up Ephesians, Christianity is not trying to overthrow the worldly system as we know it. So it's not saying, hey, slaves, revolt against your masters. And the word there is more truly bondservant. So these are people who have sold themselves into slavery and now they're paying off a debt. They're saying, hey, just because in Christ you are free, it does not mean go and revolt. We're not trying to start revolutions in a physical sense, but rather we're trying to fix your heart posture. So in the same way in which Christ was obedient even up into death, right? So you also should be obedient, because in your obedience, you're able to minister to those who are far from Christ, like your slave masters. And that's what's being said there. But God's not imposing his perfect moral law on the Israelites in the Old Testament. So it's not him to say. But what you do say and what you do see, what you do see in the Old Testament is what God actually desires in both the Old and the New Testament. That's to do unto others as you will want done unto you, to love your neighbor as you love yourself. This is the law, right? To love God and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And within this, obviously, there isn't going to be any slavery. What God says in the Old Testament is that, like, yo, you guys were once slaves. So, like, they're supposed to keep this in mind so that they're not treating people the same way that they were treated and things like that. But yeah, the Christian position isn't that God is imposing his perfect moral law on everyone. We're not saying that, oh, the things that are written in the Torah is the law that's never going to change. That's not the case.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we take some of the things that Jesus talked about and said that these things are important and that we have to follow. For example, most of the things that was
like what you have to pull
you
up
shall
a
not
verse.
have you shall not have riches.
Pull up a verse. I don't know what you're talking about. Six of spades.
Shall not have riches.
Six of spades.
That was a great explanation, by the way.
From me?
Yeah.
I feel like you're playing with me. So I don't think this deck has a six of spades.
Look, bro. This is what the community of rage bait.
For example, in Matthew 6:24, he specially says, "You shall not serve God and have riches. So clearly here he's telling
That's
you
not
how
what
you have to act.
he does not say you shall not serve God and have riches.
You cannot serve God and the riches.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like you're being purposely dishonest. But you said Matthew 6:24?
Matthew 6:24.
Okay. So, hold on.
Yeah, I have it in front of me.
Well, if you have it in front of you, I don't know why you read it like that. So it says, no one can serve two masters, for either he will love or he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. You're not supposed to serve God and money.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean what you just said was you cannot have both God. Like if you serve God, you cannot have money. That's what you just said.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, he also says in the sorry, he also says in Matthew 19:60 that you should sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and follow me. He clearly has this in the following state, clearly indicating that you should do this kind of thing. You should help the poor. You should do these things. He's giving you a moral ideas and what you have to follow at the end of the day.
Yeah,
this is clear in this point.
Okay, well, and you said Matthew what?
Matthew 19:16-24.
Yeah, so in this, he's talking to the rich young man, right? And the rich young man asks what he needs to do in order to have eternal life. Now, this person had a lot of riches. He served money more than he served God. So when he asked, why do you ask me about what is good? There's only one that is good. If you would enter life, keep the commandments. He said to him, which ones? And Jesus said, you shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. Honor your father and mother, and you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, notice these commandments are like the bottom 5 of the 10 commandments. They're not the top 5 of the 10 commandments that are dealing with your relationship with God, right? So he's doing the things in regards to his relation with other people, but his relation with God, he is failing to execute. So the young man said to him, all of these I have kept. What do I still lack? So now Jesus is telling him what he still lacks. If you would be perfect, go and sell what you possess, give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Come and follow me. When the young man heard, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. And Jesus said to his disciples, truly, truly, I say to you, only with difficulty will a rich person enter the kingdom of heaven. This is because of the verse that you just brung up. You cannot serve both God and money. Money for this person is in the place where God is supposed to be. He's asking the question, how can I achieve eternal life? But he is unwilling to part or do what God is telling him to do if it requires him to part ways with his money. He is trying to serve both God and money. He's trying to have money and God in the same position. But that isn't how it's supposed to be. What you do see in the way in which how somebody's supposed to be a steward over their money, as you see in the book of Proverbs or as you see in the book of Acts with the church, is that, okay, when we get money, right, we are devoting these things to God. We're using this money, this gift, in order to further reach those who need to be reached, to help those who need to be helped. It's not that God is against the money, but when you put money in a position in which God is supposed to be, that is wrong. And that's what Jesus is saying here.
Very well. So, as you said, he states some ways. He's clearly stating some way you should act. These things that are explaining. At the end of the day, he's trying to give you a moral way of acting, or that's not the case.
Okay, what's wrong with this, bro?
What I'm saying at the end of the day is that in many, for example, in this verse, he's explicitly telling you how you should act. Correct? He's clearly explaining this is what you should do, etc., etc. So
he's continuously saying that you can't put money in a position where God is supposed to be.
Very well. So here is where I say, if at the end of the day you're going to change what you can or you cannot do at the end of the day, depending on the situation of the person, that doesn't mean that the moral is absolutely, you don't have an objective morality.
You said earlier that Bible says you can't be rich. That's where the disagreement came from, because the Bible never says you can't be rich, right? It says that you can. It says that if you are blessed enough to be rich, you use it to help other people, right? And you make sure that you don't elevate it to a place where it isn't supposed to be elevated to. Are you simply saying now it sounds like you're just switching it up and saying that, oh, well, individual Christians don't keep what Jesus actually says?
No, I haven't said that at all. I mean, you are changing my words. As I said before, what I'm saying is, if the Bible is going to tell you how you should act, which it does at the end of the day, is a way of acting, you cannot expect it to be in a moment, depending on the situation, something to be correct or not be correct, or something be allowed or something not be allowed.
Where's a time in the Bible where you can't have money or something? Like, where's a time in which the thing that Jesus is saying here is incorrect?
I'm not saying something is incorrect. This is the part. If here,
where does it change? Where does it change?
As I said, the changes, for example, in slavery, something that the Bible doesn't says that is completely immoral. Obviously, we understand that the Bible will consider it immoral.
Well,
because
I mean,
clearly,
do you think that prison is like people going to jail is immoral?
What does it have to do with slavery?
Well, slavery is going to be like the captivity of like another person and then that person working.
It's not the same. Clearly, it's not the same. It hasn't been the same historically. It hasn't been the same.
Yes,
and the Bible is not presented the same way. For example, in the Bible,
so slavery in the Bible, like the normal slavery in the Bible, people like there weren't like there wasn't any bankruptcy, there wasn't welfare, it wasn't credit cards. Like so, like the way that you would get something was like a barter system and a service system. So if you didn't have money, what people would do in order to pay off their debt is that they would sell themselves to the family that they owed to work off their money. Like if I go into a restaurant and my card declines 6 times, right? So then they're like, hey, bro, go to the back and get busting on them dishes so you could work off your food. That's what they considered slavery. That's what was considered slavery back then. There's not anything wrong with that.
No, because at the end of the day, it also talk about slavery for the people. For example, I think this is part of the Old Testament, in Leviticus 25, 44, 46, it talks about acquiring slaves from other nations. These ones are not in debt. So clearly it's a different idea.
No, the slaves from other nations, what was happening back then is that other nations will go in and just kill people. So instead of doing that, they pretty much accept these people into their family. They're working and they have to pledge allegiance to the one true God. So they're still able to live. But
but we still stand in the idea. If slavery in some circumstances, for example, of the nations is considered acceptable, morality cannot be objective because it depending on the situation on this historical
What do you think
situation.
objective morality is?
Objective morality is something that's going to, we're staying with the idea of objective morality with what the Bible is saying, or what most of Christians have always heard, don't tell me that you cannot depend on the society on depending on the situation, because at the end of the day, someone, for example, myself, could say,
you don't understand
this for me is
Christian
right, but
morality.
for a person isn't.
Yeah, you don't understand Christian morality, right? Because Christians never say that everything that is good or bad is universally good or bad. There's certain things that are good or bad for certain people, and there's certain things that are good or bad in certain situations. For example,
that's not something they said. Actually, one of the biggest arguments that I always hear with atheism is that they say that there's not objective morality. And not having objective morality diminishes the idea of being able to create a government, because at the end of the day, if morality can be the correct one, how can you realize
what you're thinking of? What you're thinking of is discussions where people talk about there is no absolute moral truths, right? Where everything is relative, right? We're not saying that there's absolutely no universal moral truths, right? Obviously, you have to honor your father and mother in every situation. You have to not commit murder in every situation. However, there are certain things which it does depend on the situation. For example, For example, drinking wine, right? It may be sinful for someone who struggles with alcohol and is an ex-alcoholic to drink wine if he knows that that's going to cause him to fall back into his sin of drunkenness, right? However, someone who does not struggle with that same temptation, it is not sinful for him to drink wine, right? So we don't say that every single action is, or all moral truths are absolute, which is what you're trying to put us into.
Very well. Difference that stands at the end of the day between drinking alcohol and, for example, the case of slavery is that slavery doesn't go directly against the idea of God. One of the reason why, if I remember correctly, why murder is not allowed at the end of the day, rage murder is not allowed, is because God has given us life. And as ourselves, we are not allowed to take the life of another person that God has given to him. Slavery, more or less, would stand to the same idea. God has given everyone free will. Why do you feel entitled to be able to take away the free will of someone? Clearly goes against the
anytime you
base
take away
idea.
someone's free will, it's slavery?
What?
Anytime you take away someone's free will, it's slavery?
No, but when you put someone in slavery, you're taking away his free will.
When I put someone in prison, I'm taking away their free will. Does that mean I'm doing something that's contrary to God? No. What?
It's different because actually in the Bible,
slavery is not necessarily
that the government
immoral.
has different rules. The government has different rules. You yourself, you cannot take someone and put him in a prison.
God put people
You
in
yourself
prison.
cannot. You yourself cannot
God
take
put
someone
people
and
in
put
his
him in a
own
prison.
prisons. God put people in his own prisons. And by the way, slavery is not intrinsically immoral because not all slavery.
What did you mean slavery is not intrinsically
Slavery
immoral?
is not intrinsically immoral
When you're
because
thinking of
slavery.
No. Now we cannot even argue with that.
When you're thinking of slave, when you're thinking of slave,
slavery is not intrinsically immoral,
Janan, when you're thinking of slavery, you're thinking of chattel American slavery, which yes,
no, I'm not thinking of slavery. I'm thinking of slavery in the Bible.
Brother, Elijah just told you how some forms of slavery in the Old Testament were just people working off their debts. Is that immoral to you?
Let's apart those.
Hold on. Is that immoral to you?
The other cases?
Wait. Is that immoral to you?
I would say, for me,
people working off their debt is immoral.
People working off their debt is immoral.
We're also talking about the slaveries of war and other nations. Those, do you believe that are not immoral?
Oh my God, bro. Okay.
Is he gone?
Yes, right.
Yeah, but the point is, obviously, American chattel slavery is immoral because it violated the dignity of colored people because the way the masters were treating them, right? But not all forms of slavery. For example, when people work off their debts or when people are justifiably arrested for their violent crimes, it's not immoral. It's actually good. It's actually a good thing. And then I don't know what the point was bringing up the rich thing. Like he just completely skipped. He just skipped over that.
Wale Boo.
Yo.
What's up?
Yeah, I just got like a quick question for like Christianity. So like, I just kind of want to know like the objective like proofs for Christianity. Like, why do you guys like believe in the religion?
I mean, it's really just a vibe. Like, if you if you don't feel it, then you don't feel it. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, it's kind of primitive for real. Like,
but then like, if you say it's a vibe, that doesn't really make it true, you know?
No. If it's a vibe, it's true, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Not really.
Everybody knows that.
You know, you could say the same about like Hindus. They have a vibe.
No.
It doesn't mean
bro,
it's true.
Name one Hindu that got aura. Exactly. Exactly. You see my point, bro?
No, but that doesn't.
No,
like,
it proves it.
I know what you're saying, but that that doesn't make your religion true, right? Like,
bro, man.
Like, I'm asking for proof. Like, your thing is true.
Nah, bro. But if we're being for real,
bro, don't run away, bro. Just
no, I'm not. I was just messing with you.
I know what you mean, though. Like, you're saying it's a vibe, but it doesn't prove your religion,
brother. I was just messing around when I said it's a vibe, bro. I was just playing. Yeah. uh, no, but you have like arguments for the existence of God.
No, I believe in God and all that. I just kind of want to know, like,
oh, the evidence for Christianity specifically.
yeah, like why, like why do you believe in Christianity? Yeah.
Well, there's different. Well, I started believing in Christianity from personal experience, and then from there, I learned of different arguments to prove the the truth of Christianity. So, like the historical arguments for Christianity, like the historical argument for Jesus's resurrection, I think is a huge evidence for Christianity. I think the argument from the fact that God exists and God is good, that you can deduce that this God must be multi-personal, is another one. Argument from like scriptures and prophecy. Exactly, Jeffrey. But the arguments from prophecy as well is going to be another argument. But I mean, personally, the thing that really made me start taking Christianity seriously, like where I feel like my faith actually was ignited, was the evidence for the history of the resurrection of Christ.
All right. But like, how do you know like the religion you have today is like this, like the same that Jesus had? Like, because I heard, and like I don't know if this is true, but I heard a lot of people say like the Bible like changed. Like what do you say on, like, what do you comment on that?
I don't think we have evidence of the Bible changing. The only people out here that say that are like Muslims, and they like have to say that. Like,
like the Muslims say it?
Yeah, but they have to, because the reason why they say it though is because the Quran, so their holy text, it confirms the Bible, right? So it's like, hey, like this book, it's confirming the Torah and the gospel. But then when you read the Torah and the gospel, it says things that contradict the Quran. So the way that they try to get out of it is saying, well, the Torah and the gospel has been changed. But then you're like, okay, like what's your evidence for that? And they don't have any evidence. They just say that, hey, the Quran is the word of God. The Quran says that the gospel says this, and we can't find it in there. Therefore, it must have been changed. Which obviously doesn't, that's not a good argument at all. But yeah. Other than that, I don't really hear other people saying that like the Bible's been changed, like in any way, especially that like changes any type of doctrines or anything like that.
Okay, so then why are there like different Bibles then? Like,
there's not different Bibles, so you can either have like different canons, which just means that some people hold some books as authoritative, but we all agree on like the predominant books that are authoritative, which that you're going to find in probably, if you go and pick up a Bible, you're probably going to have like 66 books, especially if you live in like America or something.
Oh yeah.
There's also like translations, because as language evolves, people who speak the same language, like who spoke English 100 years ago, don't speak it the same today, and so they release like more modernized versions to keep up with that.
Yeah. So like I don't speak "where art thou" and "come hithers." Like
I
that.
do, but he don't.
Yeah, I don't do that. So like
I know. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So those are gonna be the different like translations. Like, I mean, you got some crazy translations out there that they're not trying to be word for word with what's there in the Greek or what's there in the Hebrew, but they're really trying to help you understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I could pull up examples if you want, but yeah.
So like, is there like prophecies in Christianity, like predicting the future and stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
There's some crazy ones. Like
yeah,
even
can you give me,
like
like a couple, yeah.
Yeah, like even outside of Jesus. I'll show you one of my favorite ones.
Which one you going
to? Where he names the king by name 100 years before the king is even born. So if you, I don't know what's disconnecting. Where is this prophecy? Let's see. It might be 30. Ooh, Jesus Christ. I was bugging. Okay. So if you come to, where is this prophecy at? It goes from like 2 chapters. Let me look it up instead of just scrolling through the Bible.
There's one prophecy in the Gospels of Jesus prophesying the destruction of the city of Jerusalem and the temple, which occurred in the year 70 AD, 40 years after his ascension.
Yeah.
Okay.
44.
There's also a prophecy predicting the death of St. Peter, Jesus saying it too, and basically predicting that St. Peter would be crucified, which historically he was.
Yeah, Jesus has a lot. Or he got a couple. But so it says
He got a lot.
He
He
do.
got a couple.
But Isaiah 44, starting in verse 28, it says, "Who says of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and he shall fulfill all my purpose, saying of Jerusalem, she shall be built, and of the temple your foundation shall be laid. Thus says the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have grasped, to subdue the nations before him, to loose the belts of kings, to open the doors before him, that the gates may not be closed. I will go before you in the level the exalted places. I will break to pieces the doors of bronze and cut through the bars of iron. I will give you the treasures of darkness and hoard in secret places, that you may know that it is I, the Lord, the God of Israel, who called you by your name. For the sake of my servant Jacob and Israel, my chosen, I called you by your name. I name you, though you do not know me. I am the Lord, and there is no other. Besides me, there is no God. I equip you, though you do not know me." Now, Isaiah writes this over 100 years before Cyrus is ever even born. And he names Cyrus by name to be made king, to allow Israel to build the temple once again, and to like pretty much crush the nations that were before him, all before a person named Cyrus was ever even born.
Okay.
Like this is just, it's absolutely, and that's why he keeps saying, like, although you don't know me, because Cyrus isn't even born yet, I know you. I named you.
All right. Yeah, I have another question as well. Like, how do you guys like view God? Like, do you guys view him as like one, or like?
Well, I view God as one. My friend Abe, he views God as 63.
63.
Yeah.
Specific number, bro.
Yeah. But nah, yeah, we view God as one. Like
One God.
And, yeah, one. And
how do you guys like
one
worship
God.
him? Like, how do you guys, like?
You gotta. Well, if you're with somebody, you have to play Ring Around a Rosie. And nah, you just you pray, you do unto others as you will want done unto you. You spend time like edifying yourself with his word, leaning on him in all of your ways, like stuff like that. All of that is worship, obviously, like acknowledging the gift of grace that he's bestowed upon you, and then sharing that gift with everyone that you possibly can, like spreading the gospel. All those are going to be ways of worship. What you do with your money is going to be a way of worship. The things you speak, all of that.
All right, I have like another question. Like, so you guys like believe in hell, right? Like, who is deserving of burning in hell in like your religion?
Everyone, like all sinners, and like 99.9% of humans are sinners. There's very select, like few who has never ever sinned. So everyone is deserving of hell. It is by grace that you get heaven.
How do you get like that heaven?
You guys, so like God pretty much gives us a gift, and this gift is through Christ. So your acceptance of Christ, right? Accepting that, hey, God has given me a gift. I was supposed to die. I was supposed to be apart from God. This is what I deserve. But instead, God is giving me a way in which I can be reconciled back unto him. And he extends his hand out towards us through like Jesus Christ's death and resurrection, pretty much. And you accepting that is like pretty much you reaching out your hand as well and taking hold of him. And like he does, he brings you unto him, which is heaven. So that's how you would go about like accepting that grace. If you don't accept that grace, then, pretty much you just get what you deserve.
I see. Like the day of judgment, like how does that go?
Well, there's two different like types of judgment that's talked about in the book of Revelation. But pretty much like God judges, or Christ, he's going to judge everyone, and then Christians.
First, he's gonna resurrect everyone.
You said first he's going to obviously resurrect everyone, judge everyone.
I'll separate the sheep from the goats.
Yeah, some people gonna go to hell, some people gonna go to heaven, and then in heaven there's another judgment called like the white throne judgment, where people's works are placed before the throne, and that which was true, like the true works, will stand amidst the fire. Pretty much, will pretty much be like your treasures in heaven, but you'll be granted. You're already granted heaven by the time you get to the white throne judgment. If you didn't accept Christ or nothing, you had already been gone. You ain't got to worry about that second one.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, okay. All right. Hold on. I had like a question. Sorry. Wait. So like, you know how you guys said like Jesus is gonna like resurrect everybody?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys believe he's God, or like is he like under the command of God? If that makes sense.
No, he's God.
Okay.
He's God the Son.
Yeah. So God exists differently than we exist. So you exist as one being, one person. God exists as one being, three person. And those persons are Father, Son, and Spirit.
Okay, so like which one? Just like, do I like worship? Like, let's say I was like a Christian, right?
Yeah.
Like, do I worship the Father or do I worship the Spirit? Like, because they're all like God, right?
When you worship God, you're gonna be worshiping all three persons. Like all the honor that you give to the Son is given to the Father, and the Spirit, all the honor that you give to the Spirit. Like say for instance, if I wanted to pray specifically to the person of the Spirit, that's 110% perfectly acceptable. Like any worship and honor that you give to one of the persons of the Trinity, you're going to be given to all three persons, because you're giving that to God. So like the Spirit is the Spirit of the Father and the Son. The Son is the Son of the Father. And when you're praying, like the Spirit is aiding you in your prayers. Like you can't like really separate the person. So all the honor and worship that you're giving to one person, you're going to be giving to all three persons. Like you can't just like single out a person to where like, no, it just don't work like that.
All right, I see. Because like in my head, because like I'm imagining God as like some powerful being that like controls like the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like hard for me to like grasp, like, because I know how you said like one being three persons. But I don't really see like, I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
Wait, how would the three persons thing conflict with the understanding that God is a powerful being?
Because I believe God is like eternal, like he was always there, like the universe started from him.
Yeah.
But like Jesus obviously was like a human, and I don't know if the Holy Spirit was eternal, like if you guys believe that.
Yeah,
but
so when we say that Jesus is human, right? We're saying that God pretty much created a human nature for himself. That's what, so God, the second person of the Trinity, Jesus, the Son, created a human nature and time for himself.
All right, I see what you mean.
So Jesus always existed. He didn't begin to exist when his human nature began to exist.
Like when Jesus was like walking on the earth, was God like controlling two different things at once, like beings? Does that make any sense? Because like let's say Jesus was God, and then like the other God, right? Like the one that controls like
There's
the
no other
universe and
God.
everything.
No, there's no
Like was
other.
he?
There's no other God. It's just God.
You mean the
Oh
other
yeah, like
person?
sorry, like do you guys call him like the Father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I mean like that. Yeah, it's like the Father and the Son. Like when Jesus was like walking on earth, like was he controlling two of them at once? Like
Controlling who?
like, then how would that work?
Controlling
What are the
two of
things
what?
being controlled?
Yeah.
What are the things being controlled that you're asking about?
I'm just asking because Jesus started to exist at some point in time. So like
No.
when he started to exist, was the Father and the Son both equally like controlling? Like how do I explain? Like because you're saying the Father went into the form of a human being, but it's still like God, right? You're telling me that?
Yeah, so
I'm just
equally
asking.
controlling what though?
Like controlling everything, because God controls everything. In my like head.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's no like different. It's not like one controls this part of the world, the other controls the other part. It's all united in they're united in their action.
Yeah, but like was it like God controlling Jesus's body and the Father's, like, I don't want to say body, but like, you know what I mean? Like him.
The father's. I mean, yeah, the father doesn't have a body.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
So the body belonged to Jesus, right? And so the choices, the actions that Christ makes through his body, those are his own actions. Those are these Jesus' own actions. So it's not the Father's actions, because the Father doesn't have a body, right? So when Jesus goes to take a walk on the beach, the Father's not taking a walk on the beach. However, when it comes to those like divine actions, like performing miracles and healing the sick and raising the dead, those are actions that are from God's divine power. And because God's divine power is the same in all three of the persons, there's one power in the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. That action is shared. So the actions that are from the divine power are shared between the persons, but the actions that are just from the human power they just belong to Jesus himself.
So basically like Jesus has like human like attributes. It's basically like kind of like what you're telling me as well.
Well, he has a body, he has a human body and a human soul that he created for himself.
And then what about like the Holy Spirit? Like what's that? Like
The Holy Spirit is the third person of the Trinity. So he's also eternal, co-eternal with the Father and the Son.
so like the Holy Spirit and the Father and the Son kind of like always exist, like always there kind of, or
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always there, they're always united. And
has
they're
always
one
been there,
God,
like
but
there
they're
like there
distinct
was no
persons.
beginning, there's no end, they have always been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why Jesus says, I am the first and the last in the Bible.
Okay. But like like I don't want to sound like disrespectful, but like because Jesus, like he was born like from a I think Mary, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So
Which means like he started to
no, so God, so Jesus pre-exists, right? So Jesus already exists before Mary, before the incarnation. Jesus exists, all right?
The person of
And
Jesus,
then
not the human body.
Yeah, so when you're talking about Jesus, we're assuming that you're talking about the person, the who, right? Now, the person exists before he creates this human nature for himself.
Okay.
So Jesus is a person, exists, right, before any type of before Mary ever exists. He always exists. And then at a particular point in time, he creates a human body for himself. And he reveals himself through that human body.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. So like you're saying the Son and the Father and the Holy Spirit were always kind of like there before, even before they were like physically kind of like on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but then who was like making like the universe and stuff? Like, were they all kind of like the same?
They all sustain the universe. There's one act. They all sustain the universe.
Yeah, but if there's three eternal beings,
They're
because
not
like
three
I
beings.
imagine in my head, like, because if we're talking about like God, like I think, yeah, like he's like the only one that can have these like certain attributes like eternal, right? But like if
Yeah.
Jesus, like before, let's say before he took on like the physical part of him, like let's say he has always been there alongside like the Father and everything. Well, that means that there's two gods, right?
No. So
So
here, I'm gonna just illustrate it for him. Okay. So
give the sun analogy.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna understand. So here, look. This right here, this circle is like, let's say for example, this is God, right?
All right.
So this one circle is like we'll say it's the divine essence, like what God is. Everything that God, all powerful, all knowing, like the creator of the universe. That's what this thing is, right? Now, the way this thing exists, my fault, is as Father, Son, and Spirit. Now, although you see three persons here, right? How many circles do you see?
One circle.
Okay. So if you saw three different circles, that would be three different gods. But if you only see one circle, if there's only one being, and this being, this is the principle of power, right? So there's only one being that's all powerful, and this one being exists as three distinct persons, Father, Son, and Spirit. Then, oh no, you don't have three different. It's just the fact that this one being exists as three distinct persons. Whereas you, for example, right? So I can't make this any smaller, but here. Here, I'm gonna do it like this. So you, for example, what race are you? I'm gonna make your circle.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm like American.
Are you black?
No, I'm like white.
You're white. All right, boom.
Black.
So
I'm black.
nah, we're here. All right, cool.
Yeah,
So there, you got a white circle, right? This is you, right? So your circle is human nature, right? That's what you are. That's what your circle is. It's your human nature, what you are. And then what's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
William.
All right.
William.
Okay, so you exist as one being, right? One person, Willie. God exists as one being, God, three person, Father, Son, and Spirit. So he just exists differently than you exist. You exist as one being, one person. God exists as one being, three person. So there's not multiple gods. You don't see multiple circles. There's not multiple beings. There's only one being, but this one being exists as three persons. Whereas you are one being, but you exist as one person.
Okay. So you're basically saying like the Son, Father, and the Spirit are just completely inseparable, like nothing's different from them, kind of.
Except their relations. Yeah, but nothing else. Their power, their wills, their minds, nothing else. Like they're completely indistinguishable except from their relations. Okay, the Son comes forth from the Father. That's how we could distinguish between a person, but there's nothing else that they're like completely indistinguishable other than that.
Wait, what do you mean by the Son comes forth from the Father?
Okay, now we get into it's just a mode of procession. Like the Son is begotten.
The divine processions.
Yeah. The Son is begotten. The Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father alone. It's just the divine
and basically
procession.
the way each person exists.
Yeah.
but they're not different. Like they're the complete same kind of.
Yeah, they're the same
They're
nature,
the same with respect to
being.
their nature and being, right? But they're not the same with respect to their individual person. But
So
when
they're not the
we're
same.
talking about God, we're talking about the being, right? We're talking about the nature.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if this
There's
is a
one
good
nature.
analogy, but like let's say me and like another person were like the same soccer like skills, but we're like different, right? That doesn't make us the same
Okay.
though.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. Because in this analogy, and here's why, right?
Yeah.
You can say that you guys are the same skill, right? However, in between you guys, there's two sets of skills, right? There's the skills that belong to you, and then there's the skills that belong to the other guy.
No, like let's say we have the
However,
exact
because
same like you know
well,
what I
allow
mean?
me to again. There's going to be a misunderstanding between the word same, because same can either be understood in the generic sense or in the numerical sense, right? Like if I say me and Elijah have the exact same phone, and really all I'm trying to say is that we both have like iPhone 10s. We both have the same kind of phone. So this would be talking about or using the word in the generic sense. And in this case, whenever it's the same in this way, then it's being multiplied. So there would be two phones, right?
One for the
But when we're
blood,
talking
one for
about the
the
persons, when we're talking about the persons of the Trinity, and we say that they have the same nature and the same power in these things, we're using same in the numerical sense, so that there's a single nature and a single power between all three of the persons.
Okay. Well, I'll just change my hypothetical then. I'll just make it the numerical sense. Like let's say me and the guy that has the same soccer skills, numerically, mathematically, you know, anything you can think of, we are exactly the same in that skill, but we are different. Like like not physically, because obviously God, I don't know if you guys like in my head he's like metaphysical, but think about it, like we're still kind of different, like, you know, even though we have that same skill, like numerically, however you kind of like want to phrase it. Yeah.
We're still kind of different. I mean, that's super vague. Like,
Yeah,
look,
but say if you
if
guys
there was
had like if there were two persons inside you,
Like
bro,
let's
like,
I'll give a better example because it is kind of vague. Yeah, like we have the same soccer skills numerically, but let's say we're on like a different team. I mean, I don't know if
so
that's
you
gonna
guys would
help.
still be two beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be possible for you guys to have the same soccer skills numerically, because you would have to have the same nature numerically.
Yeah.
And in order for you guys to have the same nature numerically, you would have to have the same body and the same soul. And if it really was the case that you two guys had the same exact body and the same exact soul, then you would just be one human numerically and two
but
persons.
No, I don't think so. Like I'll just have a clone.
If you guys had the same exact body and the same exact soul,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like,
what
no,
makes
yeah,
you human,
let's
is
say
your
I
body
had,
and your soul.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if I can, yeah, like let's say I had like a 1-to-1 clone of myself, right? It's
there's still
now
be
you're saying now it's a clone of you, right?
Yeah.
Well, because you went to like that specific. You were talking about
It wouldn't
like
be the
you
same
have to
exact
have the
body
same
as yours,
body,
though,
same.
because
So
I'm
yeah,
just
it
saying,
wouldn't
look, there'd
be the
still be a
same
difference. Like,
exactly.
your body would be a clone. Your body would be over here. His body's over there. Your soul would be, or what he does is not what you do. Like, there's just different.
Yeah. So when you say the
Yeah, that's
same,
kind
when
of
you
like
say the
my.
same exact body, the same exact soul,
We
means
mean
you
like
guys
one single
occupy.
body.
Yeah, that means that you guys occupy the same exact space, and you guys like think the same thing, do the same thing, act the same thing. Like there's no difference between you in regards to the nature. It would just be two persons.
Yeah, but
And like, even if just definitionally, a human is a body and a soul together. So if all you have is one single body and one single soul, that's just one single human by definition.
Yeah, that's one human. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So, say for instance, if there were two persons that had one single body and one single soul, you wouldn't have two humans. You would just have one human that is two persons.
Wait, can you say that again? My bad.
If you had a human that was two persons, right? I don't know how I formulated it the first time. Like if you have two persons that have the same exact body and the same exact soul, That means that there's one human. You wouldn't have two humans just because that there are two persons that have the same body and same soul, but you only have one human that exists as two persons.
Oh, I kind of see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it would be like you'd count it as like 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like,
you would count it as one in one respect.
It's the same exact like thing, but and like I know what you mean. One, I actually get what you mean, but
yeah, you would count it as one in respect to their nature, and you would count it as 2 in respect to their person.
Why are people saying pause?
Because I said if you had 2 people in you. But yeah, so that's exactly what Christians are saying. Hey, God is 1 in respect to the nature, the being. He is 3 in respect to the person.
Okay. So, like, literally, there's no difference, right? Like, I apart from, I think what you mentioned was like the
just the personal distinctions. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So apart from that, they're literally the exact same. Like they work the same, they do the same, they're the same like being, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, so I know the difference between like Jesus and the Father. Like what's the difference between like the Holy Spirit? Like what's kind of like that special?
Okay.
The difference is with respect to something called the divine processions.
Yeah.
Right. But honestly, like if you want to really understand what the divine processions are, you're gonna need to know like what relations are, what foundations are.
Like we would have to explain a lot more, but pretty much their procession is different.
All right. And like one last time, like I think you answered this in like my first question, but like one more time, like what's like the objective proof that Christianity is like the truth, and like even if the whole world would like disbelieve or believe, like it is gonna happen no matter what, like whatever is said in the scriptures.
If Jesus really rose from the dead, then Christianity is true, even if the whole world disbelieves.
Yeah.
So the historical evidence for Jesus' resurrection, I would look into that. So there's something called the minimal facts argument. I use it just because it's easy to understand and it's not a lot to remember. There's different facts that you can use. So like, for example, you can say, we know for a fact. So the minimal facts is going to take the facts that most historical scholars agree with. Like the 98% of historical scholars agree with these facts. And it's going to be that we know that Jesus Christ died by crucifixion. So Jesus Christ was a real person, and we know for a fact that he died by crucifixion. We know for a fact that the people who followed him after they saw him dead claimed that they saw him after. So that's what we know. We're not saying that they actually saw him. We're saying that we know that they claimed that they saw him. That's what we know. We also know that people who were enemies of Christ also claimed that they saw him after they knew that he was dead. We also know that the belief that he rose from the dead started very, very, very early. So it's not like a legend that started later, but rather it started very early. Like within months, people were saying that this dude rose from the dead. And we know for a fact that the tomb that he was buried in is empty. Now, I need to try to figure out what best explains these facts. And
what best explains these facts?
Yeah, what best explains the fact that we know that he was dead, that people claim that they saw him after he was dead, and they really believe that they saw him. That enemies also said that they saw him after we know that he was dead, that the tomb that he was buried in is empty. What best explains this? And I'd say that the resurrection is the only thing that actually best explains all of the facts. I think every other hypothesis falls short of explaining at least one of the facts. if not more.
But isn't that just like claims though? That's not really.
No,
like,
so like it's so in like in regards to history, what you're going to do is you're going to gather the facts. It's like a police investigation. It's okay. We have a breaking and entering, right? We have 4 people that entered into this apartment. We have a broken window. We have muddy footprints that is a size 12 Timberland. We have the witnesses of people saying that we saw, these people leaving, and we saw one person entering into the window that was wearing Timbs. We gathered these witnesses, or we gathered these suspects, and we have one person who wears a size 12 Timbs that we know was definitely in the building at some point. Somebody saw him leaving, and we have other people that was wearing tennis shoes. So from that, from the evidence that we have, the facts that we have, the thing that best explains the facts that we have is that the dude with the size 12 Timbs is the one that broke in through the window and walked into the house, right?
Okay, I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying? So like, it's taking the facts that we have and saying, okay, from this evidence, what best explains the evidence that we have? And I'm going to say that, it's the resurrection. Like the resurrection is the only thing that actually explains the facts that we have.
Okay, I can agree with you. We can agree that, like, let's say Jesus was like miraculous, but then like what was he preaching? Like, how do we know what he was preaching is the exact same as we have today, and like nothing was, because obviously you believe Jesus is God, which means like anything he says is like objectively true, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do you know what he was preaching at the time? Because yeah, like we could go through like historical evidence and say he was like miraculous and everything. But then
it's that he rose on. So Jesus says, from the testimonies of like the eyewitnesses, Jesus says that pretty much the way in which he's going to prove that he is who he says he is going to be by his resurrection. So these people they take account of his words, and you see these in the Gospels.
No, I mean, like, what did he preach? Like, what was he preaching?
You see that in the Gospels.
Okay. And then how do we know the Gospels that we have today are the same words that, like, Jesus spoke? Or, like, the same message, kind of? Same,
Mm-hmm. Well, you have the fact that they're multiply attested. So you don't have just one source. Like, there's one person who wrote down Jesus's words, but rather you have multiple people who were accounting Jesus's teachings, and like they agree. You have as well that these things were written by people who were attested to be eyewitnesses, and then you have like the fact that his teachings as well were also like highly regarded throughout the entire, especially the Roman world. You have people outside of the Bible as well who are talking about his teachings, and his sayings and things like that. So you have people who were literal followers of Christ who documented these things, and it's not just one account, but you have multiple accounts of people saying that, Jesus gave this teaching and this is what it wrote, and then you have another person giving the same account saying that Jesus said the same thing and things like that. Like, you can line those things up with Jesus's actual like teachings.
And like we could prove like what these accounts are saying or like what Jesus kind of said. Like,
yeah, like these people are actual disciples of like Christ.
Yeah, people have shown that like the authors were they were in a position to know what Jesus was saying. Like they were there at the time. They're able to recall not just the words of Christ, but the cities, their locations, the names of the people at the time, things like that.
And it aligns with like the Gospels portray Jesus as this wise teacher, and then you have people outside of the Bible who are enemies of Christianity that also portray Jesus still as a wise teacher. Like, so the attestation of his followers still do not contradict that which is attested to him in history either.
Okay. Like, what was his like main message to people?
To like believe in him. Yeah. To
like believe in God?
Believe in him.
Believe in Jesus?
To follow him.
Yeah, to follow him.
Yeah.
What were people following before him?
They were waiting for the Messiah.
Okay.
And people is kind of a broad term. I mean, there were Jews that were waiting for the
Yeah.
Messiah, and then Gentiles, they weren't following. They were following their own ideologies.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, wait, like the Jews, like, obviously you guys are not Jewish, right? But like, I mean, like, I don't know. So like the people
Elijah's.
before Jesus came, like they were just kind of like waiting for Jesus to come, kind of.
Yeah, they were waiting. The Jews, they were waiting for their Messiah because the prophets, before Jesus takes on human nature, the prophets prophesied of a Messiah to come. So everyone was waiting on their Messiah because the Messiah was going to be the one that saves them from their sin. So everyone was waiting on this Messiah. They had different ideas about the Messiah, what the Messiah was going to do, but they knew that the Messiah was going to come. They even knew a timeline that the Messiah was going to come because one of the prophets prophesied a specific amount of years that it would take for the Messiah to show up. So Jesus shows up literally right at the end of that timeline when the prophet said that he was going to show up. Like that's what everyone was looking for, the Messiah.
Okay. Wait, so like you mentioned prophets. So like those prophets, were they like, what were they preaching?
Like align yourself with God.
Yeah.
The Messiah is coming. Turn back to God. Remember the covenant. Stuff like that.
Okay. And they all those prophets had like the same kind of like messages.
Yeah, it was like some things are going to be context dependent. Like some things are going to be for Israel as they are in a specific context. Like sometimes you're going to have a prophet when Israel's in exile, so they're not their own nation. So the prophet is preaching to those people. Then you have times where a prophet is speaking when Israel is their own nation, but they're all speaking like more than likely trying to bring Israel back to God, like because Israel just refused to follow God for real.
Actually, I got a good question actually, because if there was like prophets in the past, like why don't you guys believe Jesus was like a prophet?
We do believe that Jesus was a prophet. He just was not only a prophet.
Okay. How do you differentiate which one? Because like obviously you probably have like your reasons why Jesus wasn't only a prophet, but like what do you guys use to like judge kind of like?
Well, a prophet is
He
just
said-
going to be that which brings forth the message of God. Like you don't even need to make predictions about the future in order to be a prophet. You can, but that's not necessary. It's just going to be that which brings forth the message of God. So like Jesus is literally just God bringing forth his own message, so he can be classified as a prophet. And that's what the gospels say, that he's a prophet, but they also say that he's God and that he's the Messiah. And the Old Testament prophets prophesy that the Messiah is going to be God. So when Jesus claims to be the Messiah, that's literally a claim to divinity as well.
Okay, and like there's no other prophets after Jesus. Like Jesus was like the last kind of like.
Yeah, he's the seal. He's the seal of the prophets. Like the prophetic office is done with Jesus. You have people that prophesy, which is just to proclaim the truth of God once again. But the office of prophet is done. It's sealed.
Okay, so he was kind of like the last. All right, okay, I see. So kind of like Christianity is kind of like the religion of, like in your worldview, it's kind of like the perfect religion of God, kind of like sent to humanity, or
Well, it's the
people.
yes, it is the religion of God, but it's the revelation of God that like he literally came down to save his people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think I had like another question, but I don't want to like waste too much time. Okay, if there's like other people.
It's okay.
Other people waiting.
Yeah, there's other people waiting, but like, are you trolling or?
What do you mean trolling, bro?
Like, are you actually are all your questions genuine? Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? Like,
No, I'm not. I'm more like agnostic. Like I believe in one God, but I just don't know which religion is the truth.
okay. Well, no, if you have questions, that's what we're here for.
Actually, hold on. What's like? Yeah, one more question, because like, what do you think of like other religions? Like,
I think that they're not true. It's like asking like, what do you think of like when I ask you what's the answer to 2 + 2, and you say 4, and I'm like, what about all the other numbers? Like, so if
okay,
you're
yeah,
asking a question as to like, how do you achieve, like, how do you get salvation? Christianity is the only one that's able to answer that question, or to give a correct answer to that question. Every other religion that tries to say that, oh, you could do this in order to achieve salvation, it's incorrect. Just
okay.
like
So
how,
like,
yeah,
you just kind of believe like they're all false and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they're not. They have some truth in them,
yeah,
right? But in terms of the religion as a whole, we wouldn't say it's true at all. We just say it's false.
yeah. Like they could say like, obviously they say things like are true. Like for example, Islam would say that God exists. That's true. Jesus is the Messiah. That's true. Although they don't really know what that means. But then they say things like Jesus didn't die, which is obviously false. Um, like that's just false.
Hmm. All right. All right. That's all my questions, man. Yeah. I
Well,
really got.
I pray that you, if you have any more questions, feel free to come back. I pray that you become Christian one day, bro. Just keep looking, keep asking questions. It's good to continue asking questions, bro. God bless
All
you,
right.
man.
Yeah. 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 God got us all. You know.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Allah.
I have 3 arguments.
You have 3?
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, just tell me when you're ready for the first one.
I'm only taking arguments that solely consist of atomic proposition.
Of atomic, no connectors?
None.
I got you. That's already what I had.
Oh, all right. Cool. You liked it. I didn't think that you was. All right.
All right. Premise 1, a person is a first person perspective.
Okay.
Premise 2, Jesus had 2 first person perspectives. Conclusion, Jesus 2 persons.
Yes.
And what's the motivation for the conclusion?
Hey, don't worry about it.
Hey, don't worry about it. Yeah, nah, I just disagree with premise 1.
Well, premise 1 is primitive, so
Oh.
the entire premise.
What do you mean by A?
A? What do you mean?
Yeah, when you say a person is a first person perspective, what do you mean by
like
A?
the first word in the premise?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just used to refer to someone or something.
So like the.
Not exactly.
So I could say the person is a first person perspective, and it's the same thing.
No, because A is something that you would use when the thing being referenced hasn't been used in the text yet, and the refers to something that has been used or mentioned
a really
prior.
good answer.
So you said A is a thing that hasn't been used?
No, it's not what I said.
I think that's exactly what you said.
No. I said A. When you use the term A, it refers to a thing that has not been used yet. That's not the definition.
You just used the word in the definition.
That's not the that wasn't the definition I gave. The definition I gave was A is simply used to refer to something that has not been mentioned.
Yeah, so it's used to refer to a thing that has not been mentioned, right?
I said something.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know, man.
What's the difference?
Oh my days. One would make the definition kind of
$10.
difficult to understand.
Elijah, love the work you're doing. God bless you.
He
Are
said
you
that while we
considering
over here
hopping on
messing
any
around.
atheist's live tonight?
Tonight?
There's 2
W
live together.
donation.
Joe reads the Bible and Mazzo. Their topic is why God make a bad Bible.
Ugh, that sounds like an awful topic. Let me see. I might try to. You guys want to see if we could get into Metaphysics Mike live?
Oh, please, yes.
That sounds like a thoroughly unenjoyable experience.
Bruh, I don't know
Also, there's a
his.
guest in here. I don't know if you see.
There's a guess.
Cask takeover.
Cask, what's up? Cask. Cask. Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, man. It was like on mute for whatever reason.
What's up?
I don't know if this is like is on topic, but I just wanted to show you my testimony. Because I used to be an atheist up until I was 30 years old, and during COVID, I became Christian, and I was like radically saved. Just let me know if you want me to continue.
How long is your testimony?
It's not that long.
Relative to.
Like 5 minutes.
Can we cut it down a little bit?
Yeah, we can cut it down a little bit. I mean, I won't go into exact detail then, because
Okay.
like if I told you everything, you'd be like, "Damn, that's crazy." But
Hey, bro, you really missing out on a whole bunch, but I guess like I could.
So
All right,
so
go ahead,
basically,
man.
just to start it short, man, I'll make this real quick. Back in 2019, I was a manager at a company, and I fired this guy who was an atheist or who was a Satanist, and I didn't know at the time. But dude, he got really mad at me, and he came up to me and he said, "Hey, dude, I worship Satan. I'm gonna get you back." And me at the time, bro, I was an atheist, and I was just like, "Bro, God isn't real. Satan isn't real. Like you're stupid."
Yeah.
And he just had this smile on his face. So I fire him, whatever. And then
As people do.
3 months later, this guy comes in into my work, and he asked me a question. He says, "Hey, is this business a franchise?" And I say no. And then he says, "How long would it start to take or how long would it take to start a business like this?" I say, "I don't know, about 6 months." And then he shows me a black and white picture of himself. And I'm like, haha, nice picture, bro, whatever. And he leaves. And then fast forward another 4 months, someone else comes in and they asked me, they said, "Why are you messing with Joel?" Which was the guy's name. And then he asked me, "How long would it take to start a business like this?" I say, "I don't know, about 6 months." And then he shows me a black and white picture of himself. And then he leaves, right? But over the course of this year, like leading up to COVID, when those two people came in, they were like doing witchcraft on me. I didn't know, unbeknownst to me, but I look back and I see that's what they were doing. And I became like in a really dark place. Like I didn't used to be addicted to porn, but like I got like really addicted to porn during that time. Like I started getting like hookers and like crazy
Oh,
stuff, bro.
oh, shoot. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
so then fast forward.
That escalated so quick. Okay.
No, it did, bro. Like out of nowhere, I became a porn addict and I started getting hookers, and I was like in a dark
But you
place,
was
like
you was like
spiritually.
you was like under
And
spells though, right? They had done
yeah,
witchcraft.
and then
All right,
so
so they're
dude,
not even
one
real
day
fall for.
I was an atheist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one day I'm in my bed and I say, "God or Satan, whoever's real, send me a slut." Verbatim. I'm not even
All
capping,
right,
bro.
gang. I might
Hey,
have to
yo, I don't think
drop.
you can talk
I
about.
might have to drop you,
Hey, this
man.
might be for the membership only.
Yeah, this might be for a membership
No,
only
but no,
live
no, it
stream.
doesn't go any closer to that. But worse than that. I'm just saying that's what I said, bro. So
Okay.
then, literally the next day, I meet this chick. She hits me up on Instagram.
Oh my
She
days.
hits me up on Instagram. I meet her the first night. We have sex, and then a week later, she moves into my house, right? And
All right, hold
dude,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
uh-huh.
So I don't
I did
have,
not say
thankfully, I
that.
don't have that many viewers. I need to know from the people who are here. Do you guys want him to continue? Because I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that
he should. To be
I don't
honest.
think that this is gonna go well at all. Yes,
This seems like more of a private kind of conversation.
yes, I'm invested now. Oh my days. All right, bro, go ahead, bro.
Maybe we could try to just be a little bit less explicit.
I mean,
Yeah.
just might as well just keep going, bro.
So like I said, she moves in a week later, right? And the relationship is super demonic and toxic. Like it's all based off like sex, and there's no love or whatever. And then this is fast forward 4 months later. Then all of a sudden, like I'm having all these paranoid thoughts that like she's cheating on me, she's doing these things. I'm at work one day, and this mysterious guy comes in. His name was Raj Khan, and his name literally means Prince Ruler. Like if you translate his name, and he starts asking me all these questions. He's like, "Hey man, like how old do you think the Earth is?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." And then he's like, "Do you know what cosmic law is?" I'm like, "No, what the heck is that?" And then he says, "Do you know why you shouldn't eat pork?" And I said, "I don't know," because me being an atheist, like I thought of myself as like an intellectual. I said, "I don't know because pigs are intelligent animals and they know when they're going to get slaughtered, so maybe it's messed up to eat them." And he said, "Good answer, but no."
Mm.
And we continue talking, and this guy's like, "Dude, it's like it was only me and him in the room that were talking. Like I can't explain it. Like
He
he
just
had powers."
captivated your attention.
Yeah, dude, he was like charismatic, like everything, just like the devil. So then,
Are you are you are you straight?
yeah,
Okay.
that's why I said I asked for a woman. Well, I'm not gonna repeat what I said, but I asked for a woman. Um,
But you just said like this dude swept you off your feet, or what did you
no,
say?
no, he was like he just like you ever meet somebody, bro, and you're like, yo, that guy is so cool. Like when he talks to you.
I'm not gonna hold you, but I've never met nobody that had. I've never. No one's ever had that impression on me. But so you
Nah,
said.
this
So you saying that this dude he
I've
was
never
like
seen
that?
no one describe it like that.
no,
Yeah.
no, he like I don't know, bro. Like there was just something about him. Like he was like you
I
know how
want you
they
to
say
be. I
state.
want you to be honest.
Huh?
If he would have asked for you, would you have gave? Would you have gave yourself to him?
What? That is
No,
not. You
dude.
do not have to
No, it
answer
was
that
no, it
shit.
But
was
the
You
way
do
nothing.
that
not
you
have to
said,
answer that
no,
question.
bro, like the
Why
way
is
he's,
it even being asked?
but
No, no, it was nothing like that. What I mean by that, bro, is like I don't know. There was just like an aura to this dude. Like, and you know how they
okay,
say Satan comes as like an angel of light.
yeah,
Like,
I see.
so then I go outside because I'm like getting nervous, and I go outside to smoke a cigarette, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, the girl that I asked Satan for, she comes to my work to bring me lunch, and I'm like, I'm having paranoid thoughts that she's cheating on me with one of my coworkers, everything, right? And then the guy follows me out. The guy follows me outside, right? And then he asked me, he says, hey, he's like, hey man, you should really quit smoking. He's like, I could be your spiritual advisor. He said Christianity is religious dogma. You should follow me. And then out of nowhere he says, is this business a franchise?
Why
And
is
I
everybody
say,
asking? What kind of business is this? Why is everybody asking
bro, but
about
this
this
is what
business?
I'm gonna get to. This is what's I'm not even lying. This really happened. He says, is this business a franchise? I say, and I give the exact same answer. I say, I don't know. Or no, I say this, it's locally owned, one owner. And then they say, how long does it take to start a business like this? I say, I don't know, about 6 months. Right. And then right after he says that, he
This ain't
says,
even the
hey
full
man,
story. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
he says, hey man, how's your relationship going? And I say, man, honestly, it's going terrible. And he points to the girl behind, through the glass window, because I was outside, you could see her. And he says, well, what did you wish for? And and then at that moment, 666 popped up in my head. And I realized over the course of that time, they made me say 6 months 3 times. Um, you know, when I said, is this business a franchise, or how long
Yeah.
would it take to start a business like this?
Mm-hmm.
And at that very moment, bro, like, dude, I immediately, fear came over me. And I knew that that was Satan because, dude, I said that in my bed alone. I said, God or Satan, whoever Israel, send me this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he points to the girl and he says, what did you wish for? And then, dude, I'm not even lying to you. The guy that I fired comes back and he gets rehired that same day. And he fist bumps the guy that I told you his name was Raj Khan. He fist bumps him in front
Oof.
of me.
That's
And
crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
yeah, I'm not like this really happened to me, bro. And then I immediately I got scared, but like 3 years prior, I was working at another job,
Uh,
and
Where's
I
the
was
part where you
working with
get
this.
baptized?
yeah, when because I don't want to go further back because if you were wicked then, I can imagine what you was like 3 years prior to that. So
Oh yeah, no, I was, dude. I was like I said, like I was, but I'm just what I'm going back to with 3 years prior is there was a lady that I worked with, and her husband was a pastor. They were always invited me out to the church, and I was like, nah, I don't want anything to do with it. But her husband gave me a Bible, and I
mhm,
put it on my shelf in my closet.
mhm.
And like, dude, I ran home like after this because I was like, oh my gosh, like how did that guy know that? He has to be Satan. He gave me that chick that I asked for, and I was like real scared.
My fault.
And so then I got into the Bible and I contacted that pastor, dude, and like he like emergency baptized me. Like I converted to Christianity. Um,
Do you remember what he
and
said during your baptism?
what's that?
Do you remember what he said during your baptism?
I mean, he was just like, confess your sins, um,
He was like, I baptize you.
in the name of the Father, or I don't know exactly what he said. It was so long. This was back in 2020.
Hey.
He said in the name of the like what the Father. Did he say like
Father and the Father and the Holy Spirit.
okay?
Oh, just two of the persons?
Or he said the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
But then, bro,
So
what
he
happens is
emergency baptizes you. Contact him. He emergency baptizes you, and then what? I'm
I
assuming you was
accept.
under attack.
Yes, dude. As soon as I became, bro, I started getting attacked. I started getting, because they say Satan is the accuser. Bro, I'm not even lying to you. Everything, every evil thing, every bad thing that I ever did in my life was replaying in my mind like a movie. And then I couldn't sleep at night because those people that showed me those black and white pictures of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing them in my dreams. And
Terrifying.
yeah, dude, and it wouldn't go away. Dude, I was reading the Bible, I was praying to God like crazy, dude. I was going so crazy,
How long did it
and
last?
bro, it lasted months. And
Oof.
and this is where this is where it gets crazy, bro.
This
So
is where it
then,
gets crazy.
yeah, this is where it gets even more crazy.
This is terrifying.
I can't take the torment anymore. It was just months and months of like anguish. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna kill myself. So I get into my car. And I take my dog with me because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I was a baby Christian, dude. I didn't know, but I just wanted this torment to end. So I take my dog with me, and I'm like, yo, if I crash my car with my dog and there is an afterlife, I want my dog to be with me. Like that was like my rationale, dude. Like I was so crazy. So I crashed my car into a brick wall, going 100 miles an hour with no seatbelt on. And the next thing I know, bro, I wake up and I'm still alive. And I'm like a quarter mile of it down the road from where I crashed my car. And there's an ambulance waiting for me. And I wake up in my car, my dog's licking my face. And at that,
Oh,
dude, I
thank
didn't,
goodness.
bro, I didn't have a scratch on me, no broken bones, nothing. Like, like I was completely fine. And then I was like, oh my God, God saved my life. And then that's when I became a real believer. Like even though I like was baptized and I accepted it, like I just did it out of fear. But then when I tried to kill myself and I came back to life, I was like, wow, God saved me, bro. Like, and now like I'm a huge, like I'm an avid Christian dude. I've changed all my ways. I no longer fornicate.
Hallelujah,
Um,
man.
like I don't drink anymore. I used to pop Adderalls and do cocaine and
Damn.
like yeah, bro,
Was it
like
like because you had ADHD or you was just doing?
no, I had ADHD, but I was abusing it.
You're doing it to stay
Damn.
up.
I was
To
doing it, yeah, because it gives you euphoria. It affects the same part of your brain that cocaine does. I
mm.
was sniffing them, like
Damn.
I was doing, like I wasn't living right, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Sniffing
I
them
was
is
getting,
crazy.
like I was getting,
I
you
think
know, I
just
was
taking
getting,
them just cause. I think that's a
yeah,
little
I was just
crazy.
taking them because I would get high.
Yeah.
And like, dude, bro, I don't smoke weed anymore. I don't drink. I
Nah, I
don't
feel when
do
I take them.
cocaine. I don't take Adderall. Like, bro, I go to
Wow.
church every Sunday now.
I
Like,
think
bro, I'm
that's
just telling you, like, I got like the devil is real. Like, I've heard like, because I was an atheist before, right?
yeah.
And I used to hear stories of like, yeah, I met the devil, and I was like, yo, they're just capping. Like, this is Hollywood BS.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, he's really like this test. Like, I'm telling you, he's really real.
Yeah.
Like Satan is he can give you things in this world. He can give you women, he can give you money, he can give you power. Like he's
Yeah, you
very
kind of making them
real,
sound
dude.
good,
I
bro.
mean, you
No,
gotta
no,
Hey,
you
no,
gotta giving
no.
them good PR right now, bro. Chill.
I'm just saying those are the things that he gives people, but it's temporary and there's a price to pay for it.
Yeah. Glory be to God, bro, for your conversion, though, and thankfully that like your life was spared in that car accident. And thankfully that you was able to beat your addiction of Adderall and other
Yeah, dude,
substances like it.
I haven't had sex and I haven't looked at porn in 6 years.
Glory be to God, bro.
He's
Amen,
locked
bro.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm celibate right now,
he's so locked in.
Yeah.
and before that I was addicted, bro. Like I was a huge porn addict. Like I said, I got escorts. Like it was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't looked at porn,
You got
and
like
I
the
and I
premium subscriptions.
huh?
Were you paying for porn?
You got like yeah,
No,
like the
I was just
premium.
looking at like free porn. But then I was paying for escorts.
Yeah. Well,
um,
man.
Damn,
but
bro.
yeah, in 6 years I haven't gone back to alcohol. I haven't
Hallelujah.
gone back to drugs, to alcohol. I haven't gone back to porn. And yeah, I haven't masturbated and like bro. I'm telling you, I got radically changed, bro, from this encounter.
Wow.
Glory to God, bro.
Glory be to God, bro. God bless you, man. That
Hey,
was a
saying real,
crazy
but you know
story.
who really?
That was a
Well,
crazy story,
Jesus
bro.
Christ.
yeah, but I
It
just and
was.
I use my testimony now to evangelize the people because I know, like, bro, when I was in the world, like I believed in like aliens, bro. Like I was so lost, like I didn't know,
Oh
like,
Would
yeah.
you
If
would
you
you
believe
mind
in
me
aliens, you lost.
would you mind me posting this story?
yeah, you can post it,
All right, for sure. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but
I
so
don't know if I
anyone who
will,
believe in aliens,
but
they just lost.
um
yeah, no, that's what I did. I believed in like the Anunnaki and stuff, like crazy
yeah.
stuff, bro.
Right.
And I was lost. But now,
Yeah,
like, I
like
evangelize to
those
people and I
round
tell people, I'm
earthers.
like, yo, like, God is real. Like, Jesus loves you.
Amen.
There are principalities and powers in this world. Like, you're living your life, but, there is a God that is very real. And that's what I
Amen.
do now.
I don't know. God bless you, brother. I'll be praying for you too, bro. God
Nah,
bless you,
I
man.
appreciate it, man.
Amen. God bless.
God bless.
I think
Hey,
the last
I was today years old when I learned that aliens is heresy, bro.
Hey man. Uh wow. That was an interesting life. That was an interesting life. That was a wild testimony though, man. I don't
But
know if
like,
I'm
out of curiosity, what are you
Wait,
doing after you end the live?
out of curiosity.
Mm.
Uh I need to see. I need to see. Cause
Oh, like you don't really control your own
nah.
decisions. All right, my fault.
yeah, you feel me? I gotta see what boss lady say. Uh I gotta run it by the boss.
The boss is
My boss
crazy.
is crazy.
But we was talking about that in
Last time I
premarital
heard is the
counseling.
man is the head of the woman.
That's
When are you
what
gonna get to that verse?
when you hear that, bro, like,
And look at Elijah keeping his head on a swivel. He's
man.
scared.
You feel me?
Cause it's kind of breaking up. I'm listening on my computer, but I can't.
Yeah, nah.
What was Cam saying?
He was saying how women is the head of men.
No, you said you had to check in. Check in with me about what?
With the boss lady.
No, that is not. You're taking that.
That's got to be a logical contradiction.
What?
Hey, cause I gotta
What did you have
consult
to
the
check
higher
in
up
with me about?
about like what I'm doing after the live.
Oh, what? They want you to play the game?
That's what they was talking about it. But I told them, I was like,
I mean, that's fine.
I said that might be what you would say. You feel me?
You mean in your head?
That's
You
it.
said that because you ain't said that out loud.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love when when Lex act out for the cameras and she allow me certain freedoms.
$1.99.
Camera.
Bro, this going to bring glory to a Jesus.
Amen. To AG.
Amen.
To AG.
Those $2.
We don't know
Will
which
bring
one.
glory.
But shout out to Conscious
That's
Rap, bro.
probably
God
just a
bless.
typo.
Nah, yeah, I know.
Hey, bro, give a single time to breathe. Oh,
Give
yeah.
a single where
You
you
know
see
what?
that at?
Not legs for the pants.
Like, hey, man.
Bro, you know who would always talk like that? Mozzie. He would never want me to show my face.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
sorry.
bro. But man, we had a pretty cool live.
They be on Rivals.
We playing Mar. Yeah, we do be on Rivals sometimes.
We got the coldest team out. If anybody wants smoke, you can get it.
I was awful yesterday.
Yeah.
I haven't played in a very, very
Elijah
long
stay
time.
losing.
We do be on Rivals though.
Nah, bro.
God is trying to keep us
I played
humble.
one game on my other account, and like it was just terrible. Like I just had like 2 people on my team not doing anything.
I was one.
I was
Thank
the
you for
other.
letting me share my testimony. Of course, man. God bless you.
We're talking about us, Elijah.
Oh, me, right? two people.
No, I said I played one on my other account.
Nah. Metaphysics Mike has 94 people watching right now. I never touched. I didn't touch. I don't think I touched 70 today.
It's okay. It was just a slow day.
It was.
It has to be a current.
He's
but I
going
think
live
we.
again tomorrow.
I am supposed
Is
to.
it because of
live.
the God logic debate?
He's going live on Friday.
Oh, 3 days in a row is crazy.
Ooh, so probably no Saturday then, huh?
4 days in a row is crazy.
He never goes live Saturday.
Nah, Lex wants to go live. She wants to do like a couples live, where.
Man,
She wants to get yelled at by Muslims.
I won't be watching though. I'll say that. I will not be there.
Damn.
It's okay, Cam. I don't think we'll miss you.
Nah, I would. But Cam,
What?
I think Cam, you said that where are you going? You said somewhere you had to
I
take
don't
a
know what
lot
you
of.
was about to say, but no, not whatever you was about to say.
Oh,
Sound like you was about to say something crazy.
I was.
I won't be there.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So,
sir, me.
Elijah, you said that God logic asked a question and the response was, "What's the inference rule?"
Precisely.
Oh my goodness.
Precisely.
And what was God logic's response?
It wasn't like, oh, I'm asking a question. It
was modus ponens.
Nah.
Simple modus ponens, actually.
Simple modus ponens, right? Send people to One Way Apologetics. Oh, One Way Apologetics Live. Everybody, man, go over to One Way Apologetics Live, man. God bless you guys. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Blessed Holy Spirit, I pray that all of you guys are well.
Amen.
If I'm blessed to go live tomorrow, I'll go live tomorrow. So tell a friend and tell a friend. So maybe we could get up to 100 viewers if possible. But shout out to everybody that was here. God bless you guys.
Wait, maybe it could be a little bit earlier. Oh wait, no, never mind. Huh? It'd have to be like the same time.
Yeah, low key. But maybe a little bit earlier. We'll see. So if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't turned the notifications on, turn the notifications on so you can see that when I go live. But God bless you guys.
Dang, Elijah saw an opportunity to get up out of there. Took it immediately.
You still alive, bro.
Still hear you.
Y'all in the ring, and he never backs up. Bible in his hand when the doctrine acts up. It's Islamic
That's
dilemma,
one way
got him
apologetics
stuck, jammed
vibe.
up, say something. He hits them with the truth and they can't stand up. Yeah, young Christian soldier, yeah, he built for the fight. Hold up, knows the scripture like a blade sharp, cutting through the night. Facts on it. You wanna bring a claim, better bring it right on. Cause Elijah drive facts. In the end, your whole night, run it back. Yeah, first things first, Elijah stepping with the fire. Yeah, young lion in the fade, big truth aim higher. When he pull that Bible out, the whole vibe shifts. What? Cause every single verse hitting like a full clip. Facts. He refuting Islam daily, that's light work. Hold up, breaking down doctrines, exposing where it don't work. Yeah, they try to spin stories, but none of it sticks. You hit them with the dilemma, watch them fall back quick. Say something, is the Quran from Allah or is it from man? He asked the right question and they can't even stand. Facts. Push left, push right, they can't break through. Hold up, cause every answer they give leaves a contradiction to what? Yeah, what? Light in the ring and he never backs up.